And we're back. This is an odd one for the Patreon. This is a movie that I actually saw in theaters, and I walked out and I couldn't even tell you what the plot was. Jupiter Ascending. This was supposed to start a franchise, and it really didn't. It feels like they crammed a trilogy into one movie. God, I mean, I totally understand why this made it onto Film Rescue, because if this was like an anime, like I think we say this in the episode, if it was an anime, this would be a great film, but as a live action production, it's just so bizarre and weird, and not much is really explained. I mean, maybe that's the point, but the Wachowskis are a weird pair for me, because they started out so strong, and they've been very hit or miss for me. Like, you know, we all love The Matrix, but then when we get the sequels to The Matrix, and those are just kind of, you know, those are what they are. Then you get things like Speed Racer, which I will defend. Absolutely. It's amazing. Not a great script, but really fun movie. Then you get things like Cloud Atlas, which I like half of it. And then you just get like this weird hodgepodge stuff like Jupiter Ascending, and it just feels like it's like, what was the point? I'm very confused as to what the point of this was. It feels like it's a combination of multiple stories. None of it really feels coherent. It's a mess. This movie is a mess, straight up. It's good looking though. It looks really good. There's some great costume design, great visual effects, but damn, it is a mess. So yeah, this was also in the middle of COVID. We were still figuring out our sound issues. We have some not so great sound on this one. Apologies. We were right in the middle of lockdown, and no one had anything else to do, so we were just watching movies left and right, just keeping ourselves occupied so we didn't go slowly insane. We all eventually went insane anyways, because, you know, that's what happened during COVID. We all got cabin fever. So, here it is. This is the Patreon extended cut of our film rescue of Jupiter Ascending. Enjoy.
Okay, how's that?
Welcome to the Film Rescue Show. We're lending... I can hear
Sorry.
Animal Crossing already.
That wasn't it. I accidentally clicked TikTok. And it loaded an Animal Crossing TikTok.
Leave that in. Please leave that in.
I'll leave that in.
Yes.
We're lending a helping hand to Hollywood, fixing their faux pas and... faux pas in their feature films. I almost forgot my intro. And I almost cussed. Wow. What a day.
This is like an episode already.
Oh, God.
It's a beautiful episode already.
Quarantine brain is starting to get to us.
It really is. I'm slow now. Like I'm genuinely. I think I'm not. I don't think I was super smart before, but I'm definitely down to like an 80 IQ at this point.
I apparently can't even touch my phone without opening TikTok. That's the point that I've gotten to in my nervous breakdown.
I play solitaire every night.
I should start doing brain games. I should like do Sudoku or something. I'm just scared if I start now, I'm gonna get like genuinely addicted.
Dude, do not. You will never edit again. That's my problem with Animal Crossing. I have like 5 videos to edit. I've not done any of them.
Let me introduce our panel today. We have Aaron and Jesse, our show regulars.
Hello.
Why, hello there.
And then we have a returning guest. I don't know. This is definitely your 3rd episode, right?
Yes.
I mean, you're in the Patreon content of Batman v Superman when that comes out, but that was just kind of like us testing out the waters of people jumping in from Discord, which went well.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is your 3rd episode. JD is on the show from Your Gyllenhaal That I Want. One of the best pun names in a podcast I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. It came to me in a dream one night.
Basically, on your show, you're breaking down the filmographies of both Gyllenhaal siblings.
Yes, which we haven't done since November.
Hey, no time like the present.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, let me know if you want to drag any of us in for future episodes on that.
Oh, I absolutely will.
But
I have you signed up for a couple episodes. I have Lou and Mike signed up for a couple episodes too, and CJ.
Wonderful. Today on the show, we are talking about Jupiter Ascending.
Oh, yeah.
This has been This is a black mark on Devin's book because he tried to fix it one time. I think in season 1. And then we just did not put that episode out because we didn't. We just spun our tires for a long time on it.
Was it that bad? Damn.
Well, it wasn't, and I think we're gonna run into the same issue. But I'm excited to see what JD has as far as pitches go because we kind of entered that one blind without like a written out pitch. This film was directed by the Wachowskis and
written by the Wachowskis.
I don't want to say it's their worst movie, and if this was the worst movie in my filmography, I'd feel pretty good.
I'd say
but we'll get into all that.
Do you know what my theory about this film is?
What?
Please share.
I don't think they wrote it. I think that they have writing credits for it. I don't think that they actually wrote it. I think that somebody else wrote this film.
No, they totally wrote it.
I don't think that they wrote this film. Don't think that they did.
This was a passion project of theirs.
The female quote unquote lead in this film is written in a way that none of their other female characters are, that they've never written a female character, and they try to make it look like it's something that they did on purpose, when in reality they wrote this character that has no agency and minimal purpose, like...
Which I'm going to fix some of that.
Mm-hmm. I do have thoughts on that, and I guess we'll get to that eventually. I'd like to start off on the positives, and this is going to be an interesting episode because we do have, or at least 3 of us, I don't want to speak for Jesse, but I think there's generally a lot of positives to talk about.
I actually have a small list.
I'll go last.
Okay, JD will go last. Well, in that case, I'll have Jesse go first. What are some positives that you pulled from your last watch of this film?
Visually, it's amazing. It's got some good visuals in it. I like some of the CGI in it. Like the ship designs are really good. You know, costumes are great. Production design's really good. It's like it's good on a technical standpoint.
Sure.
Yeah, it's got the great nuts and bolts elements of a film. It just doesn't have a good script or good characters.
Does it have characters?
Yeah. Who would you say is the best character?
Balin.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah. What's his character though? What's his character?
No, when your character is so bad that the writers realize that your character isn't actually emoting their feelings and needs to have another character literally say, I know that you can't express your feelings, so I'm going to do some exposition about your character's inner thoughts so that this movie plot can move forward, because otherwise it's really confusing what this character actually thinks and feels right now. So I would say that Balin, or perhaps, what is her name? Khalik, are probably the more intriguing. But they're the only ones that really approach a character.
It's definitely Balin.
And they're still fairly two-dimensional, fairly predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about you, Aaron? You said you had a list of
I have a small list.
Positives.
So, as we have alluded to in the past, we have a group chat, and when we're watching these movies, a lot of times we will just put our general thoughts about the film in that chat. And normally, within the first 10 minutes, I have a lot of complaints. And this movie, the first 10 minutes, the only complaint that I had was that there were some space scenes that were really pretty that they didn't show on screen long enough, which is the opposite of my normal complaint, which is there are scenes that are just in my face for too long. So, like,
right.
Objectively, this had some, like, probably one of the best first 10 minutes of a film that I've seen in the past couple of years. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's objectively the best, but it's in probably top 10, top 15 for certain. The cast ranges from extremely hot to weirdly hot to creepily hot, and I'm down with that. That's my vibe. That said, the oddly sexual nature of these villains made me have a 3 a.m. realization about why my love life is so unsuccessful, and I'm not sure that was the catharsis that the directors intended when they made this film.
Where does Sean Bean land on that hotness scale, though?
Hot.
That's my
Extremely
question.
I think
hot.
he's somewhere between extremely hot and weirdly hot at the same time. Like, it's not mutually exclusive. You can be all of the above if you would like.
Eddie Redmayne
Yeah.
is
I was about to say Eddie Redmayne.
So I'll get to Eddie Redmayne. Okay, I'll get to Eddie Redmayne because
I'm just glad that Sean Bean didn't die in this movie.
Yes, he lived.
He actually lived.
It's an Easter miracle, motherfuckers.
He is risen.
It's 10 minutes and 25 seconds. Yes!
Hold up. Wait a second. It's not just an Easter miracle. It's a birthday miracle, because guess who turns 22 tomorrow?
Is it you?
Yup.
Yes,
congrats.
I was born on Easter,
Congratulations.
and
Happy
my birthday
birthday.
falls on Easter every 11 years.
He is risen.
I remember I remember discussing that
That's
when
really
we were
cool.
talking about the reschedule.
Yep.
And you were like, it's a birthday episode. Happy birthday, JD.
Happy birthday.
Yep, that. Yeah.
There's a positive for this
Yes,
film.
there is a positive. So the cast definitely had the ability to carry the film if they had anything to carry. It is not their fault the dialogue was so shitty.
Yeah.
I have seen Eddie Redmayne given a lot of crap for how he portrayed Balin, like saying that he's too melodramatic and stuff like that. But to be quite honest, I think he was speaking with a lot of gravitas, and the dialogue was written by Reddit r/I'm 14 and this is deep. It is the truth. There were a ton of great concepts. So many concepts. Too many concepts. Okay, you have a lot of concepts and you want to tell us that you've got sequel material. We got it. We get it. Like, we got all these concepts. There's many concepts. You've got them. They're all good. So yeah, that's pretty my visually it was really great. It really needed a script and a plot to carry it, and there were simultaneously not enough and too many of both of those.
Yeah.
It's such a convoluted film because it's like some of the things that I would consider that it did well, like CGI, it failed in some of the most basic ways. Like that scene where Khalik is showing Jupiter to the statue of her mom, and there are all of these CGI candles, and they must have used like 4 different sinks for the flickers because it was very patterned. It was obviously a artificial flicker, and I'm like, oh, you can do this better. Like, this is so jarring in this otherwise. When you do a film that's really beautiful and then you do something that's not as beautiful, it's really jarring. Like, if you're going to commit to the love, like to the A game of this film, you need to really bring it up when you're in your like B game scenes as well. So,
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Them's my positives.
I have a list as well. I saw this movie in theaters.
As did I.
I'm
Did you get
jealous.
bored?
I'm so
got very
jealous.
bored.
No, okay, I'm a theater slut. I'm like, if I'm seeing something in the movies, I'm going to try my best to have a good time, regardless of what has happened. There's not many times where I've just broken down and like not enjoyed myself at the theaters.
Have you ever
I like
left?
it. Oh yeah, Spider-Man 3. I don't know how that movie ends, and I'll never find out how that movie ends.
Yeah. I refuse to
wait,
watch
wait.
the third Matrix
wins.
movie.
There you go. Spider-Man wins.
I've never left during a movie.
Neither have I.
Yeah,
That is a level of
and-
patience I do not have.
And normally I'm like blocking out time to be at the movie, so even if it's like terrible, I can at least semi have a good time. I remember seeing Kingsman and The Lazarus Effect back to back
Ew.
at the theaters.
Yo.
The first Kingsman or the second?
The first one.
Okay, so you
The
had a fairly
Lazarus
good the
Effect.
first movie, and then you went into the Lazarus Effect.
Well, I did Lazarus Effect first,
Oh, good.
and
Good.
and it was like the middle of the day, and we had brought like half pints of vodka in with us. And there was 4 people in the theater, and 3 of them were my group. So we just had a fun time heckling that movie. So even though it was bad, I had a good time. Anyways, for
Future
Jupiter Ascending, I didn't.
episode?
I'd be open to fixing Lazarus Effect. Totally.
Let's fix Olivia
Horror movie.
Wilde. Let's fix her career. Because she'd be spinning some bad movies.
Where do you want to start, friend?
She jumped into directing and is doing a kick-ass job at that. So
Oh,
I think
yeah.
she's good now.
Yeah,
She
Booksmart.
course correct.
Booksmart's still one of my top 5 movies from last year.
What was it? What was up with 2018 and 19 and people who you didn't know could directing amazing little films?
Yeah.
It was awesome. Anyways, Jupiter Ascending is what we're talking about.
Yes.
And okay, first positive, and I know Aaron disagrees. I really liked the way Mila Kunis played a protagonist that had no input on a story, and I feel like that was intentional. Maybe. I'm not saying it's good.
Even if it's not intentional, it causes a huge problem, and that it basically means the whole film is pointless to her.
Well, here's
the film
my
revolves around her, yet she doesn't have any influence in it.
Here's my theory on that. that was written intentionally as like a semi-satire on that kind of character, to the point where she just goes home at one point. Like, she just stops the story to go, nah, I'm going back to Earth.
So her characterization was intentional, but was more as they wanted to present a strong character who did not really fight. And
Right.
I don't like the way... Okay, so let me give a little background. So I work in IT security. I'm used to being at like this diversity disadvantage where like there's not a lot of women in the industry. And there's this problem where it rather than like actually trying to fix the problem in a good way, companies will just hire women and throw them into positions and just let them drown in these positions. And that's what this movie felt like. It was like, we really want a sci-fi heroine and like we want her to be different than other sci-fi heroines. So we're just gonna like not make her be like one of the ones that fights. And we're just gonna stick her into this. And I said this in our Twilight episode. I don't like it when you just give female characters things. This
Right.
plot, the trajectory is the same as the first Star Wars film. You have a reluctant hero who, you know, basically just gets thrown into this level of knowledge and experience and this universe that he had no experience with, and he becomes the hero and he saves the day. But whenever you have a male character do this, there is always some type of development arc. You're jacking into the Matrix, you're practicing with the lightsaber, you're lifting, you know, X-Wings with Yoda. Like, you don't see male characters just magically get into their position. And I get that her character still didn't have a lot of agency, but the level of understanding of the situation that she shows in the final encounter with Balin would only really make sense if we saw her develop in some way. But the only skill that we see her develop in this is to run away and to be protected by others. There is no defining moment when Jupiter puts aside Jupiter the maid and becomes Jupiter the queen and goes into this royal encounter with him. And I get that that's probably not what they wanted there to be, that power imbalance, because, you know, women tend to have this power imbalance even when they're in equal roles as men. Like, I get that this was the symbology and the metaphor that they were going for, but we needed to see her make an effort to get better, because otherwise she's really kind of just dead weight throughout most of the plot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's a perfect segue into my next positive, I want to call it. This is 6 really good TV show pilots smashed into a film.
I've said like this is like a trilogy that got slammed into one movie.
Right. And you can tell I have some like outside thoughts on what's happening here, because this was made in 2015, and then like what was going on in the Wachowskis' lives via 2016, and how like the trajectory of their entire career shifted after this film. They wanted to start making series, and you can tell they're thinking about Sense8 while they're making this film.
They're trying to make a cinematic universe, but they don't realize that you don't make cinematic universes out of these grandiose, overblown films. Like, the best cinematic universes out there were created by films and TV series and books that no one really had high expectations for. Like, I think
the best example is Iron Man.
Big.
I mean, look at Iron Man 1 is quaint and it's simple and it's straightforward. It's a very standard 3-act structure.
Look at the first Matrix film. I mean, it is complicated, but it's nowhere near the level of... nobody expected the Matrix to become what it was. They hoped that it would. Yeah. But I think that they were trying to make this, like, franchise starter to end all franchise starters. And they were just trying to prove how many ideas they had and how vibrant and active this world is, and all of the races and conflicts and stuff like that. But they never could stop to consider, like, is the movie that we're making, this first movie, actually good on its own? And the truth is, no, it's not.
Yeah.
I think what happened was they wanted to lend a scene to every idea instead of John Wicking it and having it be like, oh, are there like gray aliens, men in blacking people?
Yes.
But instead they're like, no, we're going to do a whole scene about this. Or even my favorite scene of the film, the Terry Gilliam Brazil scene. Like, I could watch that clip on YouTube by itself just on loop. It is hilarious.
Yeah, but
it stays in my rewrite.
Yeah, that's
right. And
that scene
and it
works in isolation.
Well, not only does it work in isolation, it's tonally inconsistent with the rest of the
That's
film.
what I mean. It doesn't
Ruins.
fit. It doesn't fit.
I was so angry because I'm like, this scene independently is so good, but
Right.
here's another example. You have the scene with what does it cut into? You have the scene with Jupiter and Kane, and she has the really odd statement about, like, I love dogs, which is fucking weird.
The
And
bestiality.
I
then
love it so
you-
much.
abrupt tonal shift to Titus Fairy sex orgy. And my vagina was so confused at that point in time about whether we were supposed to be horny or repulsed. I'm still confused. And then Eddie Redmayne, I have personal issues with Eddie Redmayne because from certain angles, his face looks a lot like my face, especially from like a profile angle.
Oh, no.
He's just me, but male and a lot hotter. So there's like scenes where I'm like, God,
Hey,
he's really
hey.
hot. And then he looks like me. And then I'm like, no, that's not hot at all. That's super weird.
Aaron, I just want to put that
Yeah.
out here. Eddie Redmayne's not that hot, and he doesn't look that much like you.
No. Eddie Redmayne is super hot, first off.
No, he's not.
Just let her have this one.
No, he's not.
I was always wondering when the show would convert into a therapy session. I should have known it was during a quarantine is where this was going
Oh,
to.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think overall, Jesse, you said it. The nuts and bolts are all here.
Yeah.
We have the whole erector set. You can build something awesome here. The only thing that's missing is a coherent plot.
Yeah.
And the ideas behind everything function. Like, you can tell that they built this leveled thing where it's like, there's Earth where nobody knows things. There's like the galactic level where there's like bounty hunters and there's a war and soldiers and like things that make sense. And then there's this like, third upper, it's all classism, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot of their work is classism. There's this upper echelon that's like living for 1,500 years by, I guess, absorbing the souls of people
They consume
from their
Can we discuss how
egg
Jupiter
cells.
just
They consume the
casually
DNA.
dropped? Jupiter just casually dropped 100 human lives worth of essence. Like, as soon as she finds out this is 100 human lives, she drops it. Like,
Yeah.
that was just so cringe to me.
Yeah.
Like, wow, great, that
Um,
sacrifice was now completely meaningless, you dumbass.
I think my final positive is locations. This is
Yes.
a really like to set your finale in the Great Red Spot of Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, that's so cool. I applaud that. But yeah, my real issue is just the functionality of the plot. But JD, let's end on your positives. What do you see as rescuable from this film?
Okay. Here we go. So the thing with this... Okay, let me start off with my love for the Wachowskis. So, The Matrix is one of my all-time favorite movies. A lot of people feel that way. And I actually really enjoy the sequels to The Matrix, Reloaded and Revolutions. I love Bound, their first movie. I love Speed Racer. I love Cloud Atlas. No, for both those movies for all their flaws. Okay, sorry. Speed Racer's perfect. Never mind.
Trixie is a great character. Trixie is really good in their interpretation.
This
it's true.
movie is flawed. Deeply flawed. Deeply flawed. And I love it.
Right.
Despite all of that. Because all of you are right. It looks great. The character design is fantastic. Even the action is really fun. All the cast is great and extremely hot, or weirdly hot, or both. And Seth, I agree with you. I do actually like Mila Kunis as like this female protagonist who doesn't want to fight. I like the idea of that. I don't like the execution of it all.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, also, something that wasn't mentioned, the music is amazing.
Oh yeah.
They finished
mean-
the score before they really that was one of the first things they finished. They made the movie to score, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Which
But
it
Michael
should
G.
be the
Chino
other
is
way around.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I fit in. like an unabashed fan of this movie, despite it being deeply flawed.
Okay.
And I just love almost,
Yeah.
and I love almost everything about it. And a lot of the problems that y'all have brought up, I'm like, I might have a fix for that. For that, because I got at least 5.
I mean, I can see that, because as I was scrubbing through this for like the 3rd time to watch this for the show, I'm seeing like great ideas. Like there are really good, solid, great ideas here.
You know what I really wanted to say, as speaking of great ideas? So, like, Jupiter needs to have, like, a skill, a power, and not like a power, but, like, she needs to be good at something.
Yeah.
And I thought it would have been really interesting if she won in the end by pulling something out of her, like, maid cleaning lady routine. Like, you know, took out some, like, Lysol spray, pulled out a match, and just flamethrower it. Like, I wanted to see her use. She doesn't really have any skill sets.
You know,
I just wanted her to do something that shows, hey, the things that the lower class people that you're just using as batteries are doing, they are valuable, they can be strong, like they're I just wanted her to use her human skill set in some cool way to overthrow the idiot oppressors.
I will argue that point. Not that it actually resolves into anything, but her skill is legislation.
If you say so, I guess.
Because it happens at least twice that I can recall, maybe 3 times, where she is able to quote the laws that she like has just learned that day back at people to make things happen.
But that's not set up before the plot starts.
No, it's not.
We needed
I'm just
to
saying
see her learning, and I think that would have made it feel a lot better.
If she had and she's in cleaning, she's obviously familiar with like OSHA and things like that. If you had set that up, I agree. I'm not saying it was executed well, but she does have an actual skill within the confines of the film.
Sort of, I guess. Yeah,
I guess.
I'll give you that. But I feel like it needed to be set up better and utilized better. And I would have liked to have seen that really involve either her family, like maybe some, you know, they make a big deal out of the fact that her family is Russian, so maybe like some Russian proverb taught me the way to do this, or like I just wanted to see her humanity tied into her strength. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
The movie is basically, I've said this, it's live action anime.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It absolutely is.
If this was an animated film, all problems are forgiven. I really think that being an animated film could have saved this thing.
Well, and the root problem with that scene at the space DMV is really that is a very realistic looking scene. It feels realistic. It's something that we can relate to.
Yeah.
And it's in the middle of an anime movie.
See, that's where I disagree.
It's like I said, it doesn't fit with the rest of the film, and then you have that Terry Gilliam cameo.
See,
Which is wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. This is where I disagree, because a lot of people say the same thing about Speed Racer. So like, oh, it would have been so much better if it's animated. Like, no. It's perfect the way it is because they buck all conventions of live action filmmaking. They go, no, we're going to do whatever the fuck we want.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean,
that feels like the entire filmography of the Wachowskis post Matrix.
It is.
Basically,
True.
yeah.
Like, they
It
just
is,
make
and I love them for
these big, boisterous, grandiose films that didn't make any money. Like, none of them made money. They all failed.
Except for The Matrix.
Except for The Matrix 1. And I think, Matrix 2 made money.
Oh, the whole trilogy made money.
Did it? Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Well, okay, so beyond the Matrix trilogy, all their films failed. Cloud Atlas was not very good. Jupiter Ascending was a disaster. Sense 8, they blew, like, $11 million per episode for each of those episodes of that show, and everyone wonders why the show got canceled. Like, because they were blowing all of Netflix's money and no one was watching. So you have all these films that come out and they don't do well. And V for Vendetta, they only wrote that. I think they were on set, but they didn't really have much influence on the direction of it.
I'm pretty sure they ghost directed that.
It's got flaws, but it's not.
It's if they had not called it V for Vendetta and just called it something else, it would have been better because it barely covers any material from the actual book.
True.
Honestly, like the book is about fascism versus anarchy, whereas the movie is about American liberalism versus American conservatism. It's like the two things are not intertwined. Like,
Right.
if you want to make a movie about overthrowing the American government, make a movie about that. Don't try to shove V for Vendetta into that. So
Agreed.
Yeah, I can kind of see that point.
Totally.
Yeah.
James McTeague did V for Vendetta. Allegedly.
Yes.
What?
Before that, he was the, I believe, second unit director on
Second
the
unit.
Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
And he
wow.
also worked on the Matrix trilogy as well.
Yeah.
And then he went on to make Ninja Assassin, which we've established canon to the show is a perfect film.
Yes. And then he directed The Raven, starring Joan Cusack as Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh God.
I have not
Jesus.
seen that.
It's-
It must be bad.
It
is
I've
bad.
Not
never
great.
heard anything about
It's
it.
bad. It's bad.
Oh, he did Breaking In 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That movie was way better than it should have been.
Oh, and in between those two movies, he did a Survivor with Mila Jovovich and Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I'd skip that
I
one.
remember these things.
He does a lot of movies that seem like they should be bound for the red box really quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, yep, totally.
Yeah, he's one of those directors. Had one
What
good one, and then everything else fell apart.
Sometimes that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I know I had some other positives. I watched this for the first time we had scheduled this episode and then had to reschedule. I'm trying to think what my other positive was. I think we hit everything. Set design's great. The wedding scene is so
beautiful.
good looking.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's beautiful. That dress.
Yeah, the location,
Everything.
the idea of like cathedral style stained glass windows in space.
Mm.
That's so cool. I
They
love that.
mixed aesthetics really well. Like,
They
you've
really
got
did.
Chicago, you've got like a lot of ancient Greek and Roman influences, and then
I wa-
you've got like
I just realized something. I wonder if that cathedral is where Doom Eternal got its ideas for the Doomslayer's castle.
Oh, true.
There you go.
True.
Good ideas.
That's awesome.
Good ideas.
Yeah, great ideas.
Yeah.
And even the execution on some of them is
Not terrible.
great.
Yeah.
Like specifically, I think outside of the Brazil scene, which I still hold as the best scene of the film, the Chicago chase that ends with her going, "No, everybody's gonna like see this and figure out what happened." As things are being fixed.
Yeah.
I love that whole. Very Matrix-esque reality isn't what you think it is, and they're able to distort things as they want, and they can basically Men in Black a whole city, like Tommy Lee Jones does at the end of 2,
Yes.
or the end of 3.
I
forget
it's
which
ended
one.
2 where they use the Statue of Liberty to neuralize the whole city.
Yep.
Yeah. That I love that idea. It's so well executed. The chase looks great. They really know how to make a movie look so good that you think it's great.
Yeah.
Agreed.
You know what could have been really cool with this? If Khalik and Kane both knew that she would need to go up against Balin again eventually, so like they both kind of had like this time where they're teaching her various skills that she needs to survive in like Space World. I think because the dichotomy between those two characters and how they would solve problems would set up a lot of different situations where like Khalik will set up okay, this is how you're supposed to solve this problem with like, expecting her to use like court etiquette or something like that, and then Kane will have like some rough and tumble solution about like killing people, and she'll choose something that's kind of like in the middle but like clever in a human clever type of way.
So the standard
Yeah.
hero's journey, the apprentice.
Yeah,
needs
like
to
I
learn
would
from
like
the
an
master.
actual.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like the idea of having two really disparate, because like normally there's one master or there's like a singular group of masters that are grooming somebody a certain way. I like having that dichotomy in how those two specific characters would approach various situations.
Sure.
And having Khalik more clearly established as an ally is a more interesting line than, well, the two brothers are evil, so the sister, probably bad, questionable, maybe.
So the plot is telling you to assume that she's evil because she's absorbing people to live longer, and like the morality of that is really hard to parse if you're going to try to establish this character as good. Maybe she, like, if she didn't transform into her young self, you can maybe argue that she's kind of gone cold turkey from this whole thing and is going to let herself die of old age out of a morality change. But
You're
instead
Taking after her mother.
exactly.
you just have it be a scenario where, you know, she actually gets to meet a human, aka Jupiter / quote unquote her mother, and have her be like, oh shit, like you are real people, like you are like me. Like you could have that be a learning experience where, you know, she was previously very distant from the reality of the situation, and meeting Jupiter is what causes her to reform, and then she could have a redemption arc, which is always lovely.
Well,
Yeah.
There's one thing that really has been bothering me about this movie.
Just one?
Oh, just one. So it's said in the context of the film that Jupiter, her original self, signed over the deed of Earth to her future self, not to her
potential
kids.
Future self.
Potential future self, not to her kids.
Yes.
Well, she did it to her kids unless her future self was reborn.
Oh, was that the case?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I missed that
because
part.
it seems it's pointed out that it's basically uncommon, because the brother Balin owns Earth until Jupiter comes along and reclaims her rights.
Right.
But it seems in the story that the way that I analyzed it is that she basically thought her kids were spoiled little shits and didn't like them anyway, so she's just going to assign the deed back to her future self.
No, because it's made to seem like it's not very common for your future self to come back, but that, like, it's not common, but in the event that it could happen, you know, because time is a wibbly-wobbly thing, and we all have many, many years, and there's a lot of opportunities for new lives to happen, you know,
Jeremy
just in
Bearimy.
case this, you know, just in case it happens, I'm going to write it into my will.
Okay.
I mean, again, if her powers are litigation, that is like amazing setup for a like kind of non-action finale. Like maybe Channing Tatum's trying to do. I can't remember any of the characters' names. What was his Kane?
Kane Y.
He's a canine.
Yeah, I pointed out Kane, K9. He's a dog. I get it. That's
Sean Bean's name is Stinger Apini.
God, that's so bad.
yeah, he's Stinger because he's half honeybee, which is fucking weird.
I love
the worst names ever. These breeders need to be taken out and shot. They're irresponsible.
You know what, Jesse? You're right. This is just a One Piece episode.
Yeah,
everybody's name is what they are.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wait, but do you want to know what Sean Bain's last name is?
What?
His name is Stinger Apini.
Yep.
Stinger Duppini.
Oh wait, and then it's Kane Wise.
Oh yeah, that's right. God.
The
Seriously.
alliteration
Not very
of
wise,
Jupiter
though.
Jones. I just wow.
Oh, dude! All of the religious references in this, like the Lucifer's fall from grace and the stripping of his wings, and
It's just like the fucking
The
Matrix
Morning
sequels.
Star
They're shoving
and-
in too much crap.
it's like literally every piece of lore / mythology that they could come up with, they shoved into this movie.
It's like
I wish
pick a thing, dude.
I
No.
wish there was more
Pick all
ancient
the
alien
things.
stuff in it.
Yes.
Like I don't know.
Yeah,
I
like,
say that.
like you pointed out last night the crop circles thing that they worked that in, and I said
I
that's
like that because it was subtle. That was just a visual gag. It wasn't like
Sure.
pointed out like the ghosts in Matrix was, so it wasn't like over your like banging you over your head.
That's what it reminded me of when I first saw the film. I was like, oh, it's just like the ghosts and the werewolves and vampires in the Matrix.
Yeah,
Reloaded.
but
It's
I
like
don't know. I think they
trying to
handled it
explain
better
something
this
that doesn't need
time.
an explanation.
Right.
I think it was just like a cool sight gag more than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I break this film into chunks, you have the
You kind of have to.
yeah, you really do. You have the political litigation committee is like one plot, and then you have the Space Wars genetic splicing kind of Ghost in the Shell stuff. That's Kane and Stinger and all that. The actual Star Wars in your not Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then you have the like Men in Black, mind erasing, kidnapping, the like conspiracy theory stuff. There's like literally a whole underground community of aliens on Earth that they really don't tap into much. You have that. Of the three ideas, which do you think is the actual best vehicle for the film?
The second.
Because to me, it felt like
What are
if
my
you're
choices
doing this
again?
Yeah, I'm confused. What was the question?
The political overarching ancient alien thing, the Star Wars thing, or the Men in Black thing, because it's all three.
The
Star Wars thing,
because that's the majority of the bulk of the film. The
and that
also
that plot feeds into my fixes.
Yeah. To me, if you broke this thing into like an 8-episode miniseries, the first 3 episodes are going to be like the setup of your Men in Black stuff, the ancient aliens thing, the whole the world is not as you know it, and then Kane's character is introduced throughout this, and then he pulls her into the next 4 episodes, which is the Star Wars stuff. And this is where you're hinting to the idea of there's this ancient kind of immortal race of aliens that you're actually weirdly tied to, and we haven't told you that because we're slowly feeding you information. So the last 2 episodes can be her, now that we've established like her learning what she is and what she can do and what her skill set is and how she could resolve all this. You hit the last 2, and that's where you dive into like the melodramatic Shakespearean scream whispering Eddie Redmayne character, and now he makes sense as to what he is, because he's literally operating in a different world than what we've seen so far. It's like, worlds within worlds within worlds kind of thing is, I think, what they wanted to project, but instead we just get like strange intercutting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So should we just make this an 8-episode miniseries?
To me, Jupiter Ascending works best in that layout. A long form, not like seasons of a TV show, because it's going to get, I would assume, boring eventually, unless you could. I mean, I guess you could Star Trek this kind of.
Don't
do it like
it
like Sense8, where it's like 9 episodes each season.
Right, exactly. I guess I think that's.
I would almost say if we're going to Star Trek it, Deep Space Nine it, have Jupiter get maybe Jupiter realizes how vulnerable Earth is, so Jupiter uses her new power and clout to try and get a space station to protect Earth, and that's where she conducts a lot of her operations from, and all that jazz.
I'm not gonna lie, I would watch a workplace comedy about the space DMV.
Yes, I would watch the fuck out of that. That would be good,
right?
That brings up something I wanted.
We should do that as like a web show, Space DMV.
Jesus, God.
Wait, so does that mean I have to move to Maryland in order for me to star in this?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
No, you just need to have a camera and know how to use it from wherever you are and send us footage.
No,
I have to ask.
I need to see Seth.
I know Texas is like as big as the moon. How close are you to the Tiger King situation? Where is that in reference to where you are in Texas?
That's in Oklahoma.
Hey, that's in Oklahoma.
Well, yeah, but they talk about Texas being right over the border because Oklahoma borders Texas. I guess in relation to where you are in the state, is that like a distant world, or is that too close to home?
Let me map this out for a second. I actually used to visit Oklahoma a little bit years ago when I lived in my hometown of Harker Heights, which is by Killeen, which I'm not expecting anyone to know where that is, but it's about a 5-hour drive to a town called Moore, which is like maybe half an hour past the Texas-Oklahoma border. So I'd say right now I probably live about 3.5 to 4 hours from the border.
Wow. Interesting. Because they were, if I remember correctly, they were like right on the border.
Yeah, so that was right by, about 4 hours from where I am right now.
Interesting. That's so wild.
Yeah. However, while that stuff was going on, so thing is, I haven't watched Tiger King yet. I have known about Joe Exotic for a long time because he ran in the 2016 election.
Right. I do recall that.
And that's why I know about him.
I remember him on John Oliver's show. I actually remember that segment when it came up. I was like, that's an interesting character. Libertarians are weird.
Yeah.
I have watched a lot of YouTube videos about him because obviously in 2016 when he started running for office, YouTube commentary channels started looking into him, and there are a couple of commentators. I think Jay Aubrey was the one who did a video that I had first seen not too long ago, and I became obsessed. So it's kind of good because when I had first found out about it and I was trying to explain it to people, nobody believed me. Like, this story is so unbelievable. The only reason people believe this is because Joe Exotic has a hard-on for being videotaped doing literally everything he does in his day.
Right.
Like, he probably has a detailed, comprehensive shit log somewhere, both physically and metaphorically. And, like, nobody believed me, but then this documentary came out. I'm like, oh, God, now I can finally tell my friends about this crazy shit that I watch at 3 a.m. Because I just watch YouTube documentaries when I can't sleep.
Yeah, I remember.
same.
I remember watching one of his music videos, and
They're so good. I saw
it was
Here Kitty
the most
Kitty.
bizarre thing I'd ever seen.
Oh, I love Here Kitty Kitty. I watched that. I like that song unironically. It's a fucking banger. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I have my own takes on the whole series, and I know it's very sensationalized, but goddamn, is it entertaining.
But here's the thing, like, there's also a lot of details that were left out that are actually make the situation even crazier. Like, there's a whole hell of a lot of shit that they didn't even cover.
Oh, yeah. I 100% believe that. I mean, there's no way they're not hiding more skeletons in their closet. Even what Doc Antle, whatever that fake doctor guy is, he's doing damage control on Facebook right now, trying to like cover up the fact that he's running a fucking cult.
Yep.
He's like, I have girlfriends. I'm a single guy. What's wrong with that? And I'm like,
you have a cult.
It's kind of a little controlling, manipulative-y.
So
I mean,
he's wait, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth from Bad Times at the El Royale.
Basically,
Just not good looking.
yeah, definitely not that hot.
Not
for sure.
4 level good looking.
I mean, that's even impossible for Chris Hemsworth to
Seth
achieve.
is.
Let's be
Seth
real.
is
He almost
Aaron.
died doing that. Let's take a quick break.
I have one thing I'd say.
Oh, sure.
I just remembered my point.
How many minutes later?
I just remembered my point. So if you're gonna have a character in this movie that has like no agency, don't have the film revolve around her.
Yes!
Okay,
Don't make
like,
that your main character.
I compared this to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where Arthur Dent, is it Arthur Dent? That's his name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I haven't read it in a long time. But Arthur Dent in that story, whether it be the film, the TV miniseries, or the books, doesn't really do much.
Yes.
He's literally a passenger in the story.
Exactly.
Yeah, so the film doesn't revolve around him. Those events would have occurred whether he was there or not. He doesn't influence anything.
I mean,
Whereas-
that's the same with, what was it, the second or the third, the Nazi face-melting Indiana Jones movie. Whether Indiana Jones does anything or not, the Nazis still find it, and they still let their
Raiders of the
face
Lost
melt.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
All those events would have occurred whether he was there or not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not really, because they wouldn't have found the They wouldn't
I'm
have.
sure
found
they
the
would have
tomb.
eventually.
Maybe. But yeah, all those events would have occurred whether he was there or not. But in terms of this story, Jupiter Ascending, she is the crux of the story. And the story revolves around her, and people talk about her, and to her, and for her, but they never really are... She never really influences anybody's decisions. Like, everyone's already made up their minds about what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
the whole film feels kind of pointless.
I wish that was the point of the movie, was like the removal of agency from leading female characters. If that was the point, if that's what they were satirizing and like trying to poke fun at, and then have her beat the system by using the system against them, like everyone's talking for her, and then she starts to influence the things they say, so she, like, by the end is kind of the puppet master pulling the strings. That's perfect to me. I love the idea. The execution wasn't there. That's kind of the mantra for this film. Great ideas, poor execution.
And it's weird because they've since both the Wachowskis have since transitioned to being women.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they're also submissives in their respective relationships.
I mean,
not our place to talk about that.
If that's the point, if that's
going
the point,
into dicey territory here.
That's not our place to talk about that.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's worth bringing up.
No.
If that's if that's the goal of your story is to like highlight that kind of character, like, hey, someone who doesn't have agency can still influence a story. Here's how it's actually going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They learn the litigation. They learn the rules of this universe.
Mm-hmm.
They learn like how to like. Kane is a very simple character, right?
Mhm.
You point him at something and say run. So she's going to figure out very quickly that if she can make him hate people, he's going to be a good asset. Like she's basically turning into like every director of the FBI character in any movie that just knows how to, manipulate the system, manipulate the people, and knows what their end goal is.
Yeah.
Jupiter's end goal doesn't exist beyond she wants the telescope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's her
what
ultimate
is
goal.
she?
She really seems like she could care less about the planet Earth.
Like yeah,
she had to think a real long time when she had to make that decision between save the Earth in the future or save my family now. Like that decision took her a long time to make.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I'm not gonna lie, I relate to that. I
And
do.
also, like,
Truth.
that's
Yeah,
the
fair.
dumbest choice ever because they say, oh, well, you can have your family now, but they're going to harvest the planet anyways. Yet she has to think about it. Like, really?
Right.
Like, can you be that dumb? Ugh.
Well, she
Yeah.
just needed to delay the plot longer so what's-his-face Dog Boy could get there and then they could smush their faces together.
Sure.
It's funny you use that word because I have been watching Jersey Shore lately just for like
God.
like mindless entertainment while I'm playing video games,
Jesus
and they have a
Christ.
smush room in the house where like it's
No.
the guest room that's reserved for sex.
Oh,
No.
is that where they came up with the whole South Park thing?
Yeah.
That's where that came from. I
Yep.
didn't really understand the reference. Now I understand
No. No.
Things
Listen.
I didn't need in my life.
No.
Jersey Shore is just the most fun entertainment. If I'm not watching
It
90
is a
Day
hell of a
Bride,
romp.
I'm watching that.
Wait, 90 Day
Oh.
Fiance? Do you watch that?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, now I know who my buddy is to talk about 90 Day Fiance.
All of
I'm
you
not
are making me angry.
it. I'm right there with you. I'm getting angry.
Listen.
Listen, sometimes you just need to turn your brain off and just watch absolute trash.
You know what I've been watching lately? Golden Girls. It's the best.
That is a really great show.
It's
Yeah.
the best. Thank you for being a friend.
I say it every time I bring up these trash TV shows, even if they are the worst thing ever.
At least written content out of it.
You know that there are fantastic editors working on these. There's actually an editor for Cake Boss. Is that the name of the? It's like a Netflix show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, sure.
He lives semi-local. I know him because he was teaching me how to do sound editing for TV for a minute. He like these guys are like masters of their craft and just hate the spotlight. They're like, yeah, just send me shit to do, and I'm gonna make it look great. And then like they're like in Kill Bill when she goes to visit the sushi chef who also makes the swords Hattori Hanzo.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're that in real life. They're just like masters of the craft, but like they don't care that people know. They just want work, and that's all.
I will say I have been watching clips of Gordon Ramsay making food. That is fascinating to watch, though.
See, okay,
When he's
have
not
you watched,
yelling at people.
Have you watched Kitchen Nightmares?
I've seen a few clips of it. Yeah.
You need. I think it's on Amazon now, and I know it's on Hulu. One of the two. I can't remember which. You
know all
will
that stuff
love.
is fake, right? You know all that stuff is fake.
100%. 100%.
Okay, just checking.
All reality TV is fake. That's
I know.
not the
I've worked
point.
on my fair share of them. Yeah.
Yeah, the point isn't that it's fake. The point is that it's very entertaining and trashy.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not fooled into thinking that like Gordon Ramsay had a heart-to-heart with a chef on camera. Sorry, no, I know that's not how it works. I know
Yeah.
this is forced entertainment, but it's still fun. Any other points we want to hit before we cut to a break?
I like the
Nope.
sound of Kane's gun. It sounds like dogs barking.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Little set design things, I do enjoy
Little
those.
things like that. That like,
The
oh, it's
whole
cute.
The whole romantic relationship, like the first time she tells him, like the whole, like I'm always attracted to Mr. Wrong. So, okay, this is a situation
Oh, by the
where
way, we
you're
need to bring
in
up the
like,
incest aspect of the film.
Yeah, we do.
Can we
Yeah,
not? Can we just
we got to
not?
bring that up.
So
I
when
thought
I
we were
watch
supposed to go to
these
break.
movies, Yeah, so when we watch these movies, I like to pitch different, like, potential taglines for them, and one of the ones that I have is, Jupiter Ascending, Oedipus Complex in Space. One is Jupiter Ascending, a well-intentioned diversity piece. What was the other one? I had a third one that was really good, too. I don't know, whatever, I'll bring it out later. But, yeah, the relationship thing, they were trying to give the feeling of the whole, like, Leia and Han thing, where she's, like, scruffy nerf herder or whatever, and then they kiss, but, like, the way, like, you don't just, when you're in a situation like that, you don't just throw your baggage at some guy you think is hot, you just stick your tongue in his mouth, like, why? Why did you need to say that? Just jump on him and see what happens, like, just make a move, he either stops you or he doesn't. Then we don't have to have the super awkward scene where you say that you love dogs.
Yeah, but we're keeping that scene.
Listen, of all the jokes, okay, assuming that was a tongue-in-cheek, like, hey, let's have a little fun here, let's have a little levity in our script. Assuming that's what happened, it's hilarious to me. It's not in good taste, but also, this is a drinking show about movies, so it's hilarious.
But you have to remember that
you could tell they knew it was a bad line, because like, when you have a character who is like, God, why did I say that? Like, they knew it was a bad line.
Exactly. Well, she's being impulsive. She's just, like, trying to tell him, like, I don't care about all this class shit. I like you.
Right.
That's not
and that was the thing that came out, and she just realizes, like, oh, shit. That was a really bad line.
They lampshaded it, and I think that's what made it funny to me. Like when a character, it happens in romantic comedies now all the time, where characters are like, "Why did I just say that?" Like
it didn't
out
feel
loud.
Tonally appropriate.
Well, that's a good question. What is the tone of this movie?
Fucked if I know. It changes every 5 seconds.
It's
like at some points it's Point Break, at some points it's the skating scenes from Hackers in the arcade, at some points it's Star Wars, at some points it's like, you know, Thor Ragnarok, and like, I don't know, there's some Loki elements in there. They want balance so badly to be Gary Oldman, but they won't write Gary Oldman level like stuff for him to act off of. So like that doesn't like
you need to be more like Zorg from Fifth Element.
Oh,
that's what 100%. They were trying to do,
100%.
But they didn't do it well at all.
I don't know. I would defend his performance in this movie.
His performance is fine. The dialogue is
he got a Razzie Award for his performance.
I mean, what do Razzie Awards mean, though?
The man was doing his best with what he was given, which wasn't much.
So let's touch on the incest thing before we go to break.
Let's discuss this.
No.
The character's name was Titus.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
Titus.
Yes, Titus the fairy fucker.
He's definitely the ultra hot character of the film.
Yeah,
Douglas Booth.
I would hate fuck him. I'm not going to lie.
He's got a little kid's face. He's got a very childlike face that's gonna help his career forever, even from this movie. But he, not in word, but in expression and tone, really wants to fuck Jupiter.
Yeah.
Like, I know I wasn't the only one that thought that, because
absolutely.
When I watched it, I said it. When Jesse watched it, he said it. When Aaron watched it, she said it. JD, how do you weigh in on this whole incestual vibe?
Put your mother to the test.
Oh, Jesus.
He wants to fuck her hard.
Okay. So we're not crazy. I think.
I mean, if you're gonna go, because in the Middle Ages, like, incest was not that uncommon.
Sure. Okay, but with your mother, it's a little less common with your mother. Like, even that was considered taboo.
Yes, that's very true. Usually it was with distant cousins and such, in order to maintain control of various kingdoms and various factions. But in terms of this, it's like, it is straight up Oedipus complex. It's really fucking weird.
Yeah, but do we believe that he actually had sex with his mother, or did he just want to?
Oh, do you mean previously?
Oh, previously? Yes. We don't know. It's
Good
never
question.
said.
Kind of don't want to know.
I'm going to go with he wanted to, but he never did.
Of the iceberg.
I mean, I think...
We're already here, we might as well go there.
let's break this character down. You've been alive for 1,500 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you like to fuck.
You've seen the end of Pornhub. You know what is on the final tab.
You've reached the end. You've received your trophy. Congratulations.
At some point,
he's now watching that video with the chicks who were dressed as pterodactyls who were bouncing on some guy's dick, and he's watching it unironically.
Yeah. He's like, I remember this.
What the fuck? I'm not looking that up.
Pterodactyl
Jesus
porn.
Christ.
Yeah, this was my fifth viewing
Yes. Unironic fifth viewing.
since last weekend.
So if you're that guy, I can see a world in which he is now like so taboo that he would want that. Also, if he was going to rationalize it in his mind, it's not technically his mom because this is a reincarnation.
But genetics, she's genetically identical.
Genetically,
That's all that
it's
matters in my
identical,
head.
and she looks just like her.
Yeah.
And this is where Jesse's "this works better as anime" theory comes in because genetically you can't unless her like Russian mom and dad were also the same genetics as the mom and dad of the queen of the universe.
Yeah,
that's not how DNA works.
That's not how
Yep.
DNA works.
Pretty much.
You have
Like,
to have
so,
exactly the same pairing.
DNA
know what
is not a
would've made
random
this-
sequencing.
You know what would have made this a lot better? If she wouldn't have been their mother, but would have been a matriarch from a rival family. Here's like my tentative pitch, something that I had thought of when I was watching the film. What if she was Balin's ex-betrothed? Maybe Balin was supposed to marry her in the past, but like Titus fucked her, and then there was like some argument, and Balin got mad, so Balin kills her. So he secretly feels guilty about it. He secretly was betrothed to her and has feelings for her. Titus has already fucked her, and he's like, damn, that was some good pussy. I want to get in there again forthwith. So, like,
It's
you
not
still
sexist
have
because
the
it's the
same-
woman on the show saying it.
You still have the same
I don't think that's how that
arc.
works, but okay.
You still have the same, like, general character. Like, you can still have the power over the planet. That can be something that she was supposed to cede over to the Abraxas family. I don't know.
No,
if I pronounced it right.
Abraxas.
It's a dowry. Earth was her dowry.
Dowry. Exactly. So, you basically have all of the same political intrigue. You don't have to change any of those plot lines. 0% of the ickiness.
Well-
She's just some random girl from another family who one brother was supposed to marry, the other brother fucked, and maybe it was the sister's best friend. So the sister is now like, on the one hand, if I help you, I'm helping the reincarnation of my best friend. On the other hand, if I help you, my brother doesn't get the planet. But wait, my brother doesn't get the planet.
So you fixed the incest, but you didn't fix the bestiality. So
Yeah.
points for trying.
I mean, we don't... Here's the thing, just make him a fucking werewolf. I hate when they do this, when they make a sci-fi film and they want to have fantasy
They have
elements, and
fucking
rather
dragons.
than just being like...
Have werewolves there in there too.
Well,
Rather than just having it be a werewolf, they're like, oh, we genetically engineered a dog and a human. No, that's fucking weird. And that scene where he's like, I'm more dog than human. No, you're not. Visually, you would look more like a dog if you were genetically more dog.
Or even
That's
like,
how genes work.
Or the bigger question is, why would they do that? Like, what? Why? But just
There's no need.
there is no need. It's just there for visual flavor.
Get
It is
this,
literally
he's-
like Full Metal Alchemist or Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's just an anime in live action form. Just it is what it is because somebody said, "Hey, that would look cool."
Either
It's just
make
that.
him a full werewolf and just get rid of the gross gene stuff, because people are fairly okay with werewolf human pairings. It's been done in literature before. Or alternatively, he's this cool skyjacker, which is obviously some angelic fall from grace Lucifer manifested thing, which is super clear when he's diving into Jupiter and it's the bright bolt flash of light of the morning star descending, and then he finally gets his wings back in the end because he becomes a good person again. So two things. First, we never find out if Cain actually bit somebody because he doesn't remember it, and we're never provided with concrete evidence of that. So that was an intriguing element of that. But
I feel like that
think
was
it would be
sequel
interesting.
potential right there. that they
Yeah.
didn't follow through.
Yeah. Either make him like a demon or an angelic creature. Just fucking commit to making him an angel who has had his wings removed, so he can still be this powerful character with questionable motivations without the I love dogs. No, gross. Gross. Put the peanut butter away, Jupiter. This isn't that type of film.
I'm cool with making him a werewolf.
What didn't he say? His line of soldier was called Lycan or Lucian
Lycan.
That's werewolves. That's
not werewolves. Yeah, that's not.
It's
dogs,
lycanthanther. It's something more. It's not just werewolf. It's like lycanthanther or something like that. There's something else.
Yeah, like the full word is lycanthrope.
That's it.
No, because I was watching it. No, I was watching it with the captions on. And he was not a lycan or a lycanthrope. Hold on a second. Let me Google.
Yes. No, I just mean like it's like a play on the word lycanthrope. It's like a variation of that word.
If your root is werewolf, make him a fucking werewolf.
He's a lycanthant splice.
There you
go. And like all of the scenes where he's talking about his breeder were super weird. And those scenes would have been better if he was talking about how his pack leader had kicked him out, or how, if he's an angelic creature, how his deity kicked him out of the promised land. Like, there are a lot of different ways that you could basically have the character be almost identical and remove all of the creepy factor. Like, I'm okay with a little bit of creepy factor when the story does not conceptually work without the creepy factor, but there are so many ways we can fix this. This is only creepy and weird because they wanted it to be creepy and weird. Dude, just fucking watch some premium Pornhub stuff. Stop putting it in your films.
Listen, I can get on with the freaky and weird stuff if you had an R-rated movie where like shit can actually happen. But when you
kind of low-key wanted a Balin Jupiter sex scene. I'm not going to lie.
If you're gonna do weird, please do weird the whole way, because when you do PG-13, you can only like hint towards it, and that makes me imagine it. And it's like that Louis C.K. bit. It's like that Louis C.K. bit where he says like, "You're making me say the N-word in my head. That's not fair. Yeah. You can't do that to me." Like, I don't want to imagine the bestiality happening, but you put a line in, and now I have to now my brain, which I can't rein in, I have to use drugs to make my brain act right. Like, really, this is unfair. Just put it on screen so it can be way tamer than anything I would imagine.
Well, the budget for this movie was like, what was it,
200 million.
Yeah,
a lot.
Jesus Christ, dude. Like, and it doesn't really look like all of it went on screen because, like I said, like the CGI is inconsistent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's some bad green screen in this movie, dude. There's some bad green screen.
It is a 2-hour cut of a 3.5-hour movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That scene in the hangar when she's talking about, do you have a 27B stroke 6? Like, the entire background is like all green screen, and it just it looks so badly matted in. It's so bad.
Well, I'm just getting progressively more frustrated.
These movies should not be shot on film. I've said this before. Shoot them digitally so you can blend the visual of the actors with the visual of the green screen perfectly.
Right.
Don't shoot these on film. You cannot do that.
Anytime she talks to Titus in the scene in her room, you can 100% tell that's reshoots.
Oh yeah.
Like, because there's 3 shots on a set that looks like the set, and then there's at least 6 shots that are like the Jesse, what's it called when you? It's like that meme I sent you. It's room tone for cameras. The plates.
Plate shots.
Yeah, plate shots. You can tell that she's green screening in front of the plate shots for the set.
Yeah. Yep.
This whole thing was shot on digital.
Really?
This was digital?
Yes.
Why does it look like shit then?
Yeah, it was shot on Arri Alexas and Codex recorders.
Somebody
after Iron Man,
did not
it was the second movie that John Toll shot on digital after Iron Man 3, in part due to the visual effects element, as I'm reading
Jesus
from...
Christ. Why is the matting bad then?
So did they film grain before they CGI'd? Is that what happened?
Yes, feels like it.
Because that's what happened on the Transformer movies, and you can tell.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I tried to cut to a break 15 minutes ago. Let me try.
Sorry, I kept talking.
Are we more open to a break this time?
I think we've covered everything we need to cover.
Break.
We hit everything. And I'm actually going to write the time down this time. I started to write it, and then I crossed it out when we jumped into incest.
We're an hour and 10 in, so we're made a pretty good time.
This is really unusual that we we wanted to keep talking about the movie rather than like going to break. Normally,
because
it's like, let's talk about anything other than the movie.
There's a million ideas in this movie, is why. We're gonna throw to a break real quick. JD, tell the people what you do and where to find you.
I'm at work right now.
Wait, like currently?
No, not right now. I have 3 days off. It's so
Oh.
nice. So yeah, if you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram. I don't remember the exact handles. I can say those at the end of the episode. And if you want to listen to my podcast, Your Gyllenhaal That I Want, that I have done with my friend Conor Kaburski, you can find those on iTunes, on Stitcher, and Spotify.
It's JD_Martin_.
Yeah, that's Twitter. Instagram is something different. I think it's...
Oh.
I don't remember. I'll say at the end of the episode.
Sounds good. When we return, we will have a pitch for Jupiter Ascending. How's that sound?
Yay!
I like it.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be right back.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Michael, use your mic instead of your phone, even though I wanted video versions of this. Now I don't want video versions of it. Now whatever. I guess I'm back. Hey, Michael's film, whatever. I don't fucking know anymore. I don't fucking care. Fucking bullshit. Seth's a bastard, man. Fucking telling me one time he wants it one way, and now he wants this way, and now he wants this way, and now he wants this way. I don't like the audio quality on this. Well, go fuck yourself. How about that, Seth? Anyway, I hope you're enjoying this rousing Jupiter Ascending conversation. I'm going to look at the Wachowskis' other movies. We're going to do it backwards. We're going to do 2 shit films and then my favorite film that they've made that is not named The Matrix. Let's just start with the titular movie, Jupiter Ascending. Man, everyone really tried to make this script way better than what it was. Everyone acted as best as they could to make this a functioning film, and it just did not work. It's so bad, and the cringiness of fucking Channing Tatum as a dog man really fucked with, I bet, a lot of women's fantasies. It's not a good movie. It's very predictable, and even Eddie Redmayne overacted as much as he could to make it better, and it just didn't work. It's a shit film. Michael's scale, it's a 3. Wachowski scale, it's probably like a 7 to them. They probably gave themselves so many pats on the back for that fucking film. Not as many as fucking Cloud Atlas did. What the fuck is going on in that movie? What is that movie? I had to rewatch that, which is why it took me so long to film this to begin with, FYI, because I had to rewatch it a couple times to make sure I understood what the fuck was happening in that film. I thought, maybe I'm just not smart enough to get this. And I went, no, this movie's just trying to be smart, and it's too fucking stupid for its own good. God, that movie sucks. And did you see the cast that's in Cloud Atlas? How the fuck did you get that many people convinced that you wrote a good script? It made no sense. What I think they did is they said, oh, this is only part of the script. And then people get there and like, hey, where are the rewrites? I'm like, oh, there's no rewrites. What I gave you was the right script. And like, fuck, well, I'm locked in with this contract. I guess I gotta play out this shit fucking film because most of the performances feel lazy. Even Tom Hanks feels lazy in this film. God, is it bad. Honestly, I would rather watch Jupiter Ascending, I think. At least I'm entertained by Jupiter Ascending. I don't get any entertainment from Cloud Atlas besides the suicidal thoughts that come into my head every fucking time I watch that movie. Man, it was a hard couple days to watch that fucking film. It's so bad. I'd say on Michael's movie scale, it's like a -6. Wachowski's, they probably liked it. It's probably an 8 for them. And then the best movie that they've made, Michael's film, whatever, movie of the week, better watch it, Speed Racer. Oh my God. This was actually a great film. I said it was a great film when it came out because they understood how weird Speed Racer is in general, which anime is weird, and to embrace your weirdness, this is an appropriate movie for it. It's so perfectly cast, perfectly acted, perfectly performed, and just bizarre and beautiful in its own way that it shouldn't be, and even it didn't date that bad either. And it fits the quirkiness of that original show. It's really well done, and it's really good. It's probably the best thing Matthew Fox's did, and Emil Hirsch's nails it. John Goodman's, oh my God, it's a great film. If you have not seen Speed Racer, you need to watch Speed Racer. It is, to me, the best Wachowski movie not named Matrix. And even then, I would argue that it's better than Matrix 2 and 3. But man, you got to watch Speed Racer. That's my film of the week. Please go watch Speed Racer. I would say it's a 7 out of 10. Easily. Wachowski's probably gave it a 10 out of 10, which I'm fine with that. It's a good film. Anyway, it's been Michael's film. Whatever. Go back to listen to these assholes talk about Jupiter Ascending or whatever.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking about Jupiter Ascending with JD as our guest. We also have Jesse and Aaron on the show with us. I have no clue what Michael's segment is going to be on this one. If he does Channing Tatum movies and he doesn't like the Magic Mike's, listen.
It's a good movie.
Magic Mike
That's a
movies
good
are the
movie.
best. They're both
It's
great.
a good movie.
I
both
haven't
great.
seen the second one, but the first one is legitimately a good
Second
film.
one's
The
It's
second
a-
one's so good.
It's a good movie.
It's so
First
good.
one's really good. Second one's not that great.
I went to see the first one with another guy. Like, we thought we were going in ironically. I knew nothing about what beyond that it's like a dude stripper movie, but I didn't know it was like a Soderbergh film and it was being shot on film and it had like legitimately good cinematography and an actual story. So like we go in to be funny and then we leave going, fuck, that was really good.
And then you're like, man, I really feel bad for his brother. Like, I'd love to know what happens to his brother. Like, I wanted a sequel after that movie because I cared about the brother character.
Oh, totally.
So much.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my
A movie about strippers made me care about the characters more than anything we've watched for this fucking podcast in the past month and a half.
Also, if you need something else to watch in that vein, Hustlers, pretty fucking good.
Oh, another top 5 from last year for me.
Hustlers,
Is Hustlers an A24 movie?
I don't think so, but it
No.
definitely feels like it. It definitely
Where's
it
my
has that
Blu-ray of
feel.
it? I have my Blu-ray over here real quick. I can tell you who produced it. Well, it was produced by Adam McKay and Will Ferrell.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not an A24 film then. It's probably Warner
No.
Brothers.
No, it was
Gloria
STX
Sanchez Productions.
Gloria
Nuyorican-
Sanchez.
Yeah, Nuyorican and Annapurna or Anna
Annapurna.
Perna. Annapurna.
Annapurna.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do some good stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they do.
absolutely.
What's his name? Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
They did Phantom
Absolutely.
Thread
Ooh, Phantom Thread.
and The Master.
I love The Master. I
Me too.
normally I have a love-hate thing with PTS. I know he makes quality films every time. I'm not invested in every
You mean
story.
PTA?
Yeah. PTA. Yeah, PTA.
I love all of his movies.
Yeah, I know he makes quality films, and I like every other movie, but like I'm not always invested in his stories, and I think that's where I kind of get like Punch Drunk Love. I know is fantastic. I've watched it
It's
a couple
great.
times. I'm not very invested.
It's my favorite PTA movie. I got to
Yes,
watch it at there's a theater over in Fort Worth called the Grandberry Theater, which it really sucks right now. They're an independent theater, and of course they're closed right now. But they have a film club every month. They do they show a movie, and then after the movie we have like just a big discussion about it. And the
Sure.
first time I went was the end of November, and they did Snowpiercer, which was awesome.
Mm.
And then December they did Punch Drunk Love, and it was really fun because they did like
Interesting.
yeah, and they've like I've missed it the last few times. January was the Florida Project. I think February was Parasite, and then
Ooh. Which is on
Yeah.
Hulu right now. Go watch it.
yes, it's so I had forgot that I pre-ordered it on Amazon. So then the day it dropped on digital, it just popped on my Amazon. I was like, oh, well, I guess I can watch it now whenever I want. Great.
Yes, you can.
And yesterday I finally
Are we pitching a movie or not?
No, we are. I just
We
I
Okay.
I
We
don't
got on a
often get to
tangent.
talk about Paul Thomas Anderson on this podcast.
Yeah.
I was very confused if we were still recording or not.
Yes, we are. We are.
So to
The only
re-pitch
one of
this,
P-
the
only one of
Wachowskis will not be
PTA's
directing
movies I don't
Jupiter
like.
Ascending. It will be Paul Thomas Anderson.
Oh,
Yeah.
deal. Deal.
The only one of his movies I don't like is Inherent Vice. That was the only one I like.
I
just,
love
like,
Inherent
just hated
Vice,
it.
man. It's not for everyone.
Yeah. I'm looking at his filmography. I have not seen Hard 8, so I don't have feelings on that.
It's
I-
pretty
Good
good.
stuff.
What is that even about? I don't even remember. hearing that.
What's it?
Crocodile.
Phil Baker Hall is like this like gambling hustler who works in Las Vegas, and then he takes the John C. Riley character under his wing, and then things start to
Oh,
go
interesting.
awry.
That's
involving Gwyneth Paltrow's character, and then Samuel L. Jackson shows up, and there's a whole lot of weird drama that's really cool. It's not great. It's not like, I would say it's my least favorite PTA movie, but it's still a really good movie and a really solid debut.
Damn.
Y'all should definitely go and listen to the Mark Maron WTF episode with PTA, like right after Inherent Vice came out. It's on YouTube. It's like a 2-hour interview, and he goes deep into his whole filmography. It's great.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the one where he talks about one of his favorite jokes is from the movie Yes Man?
No. No, it's not
PTA is one of his favorite jokes. He did a podcast where he was talking about one of his favorite jokes from the movie Yes Man, and this group of Harry Potter fans asked Jim Carrey, "Would you want to come to our showing to do all 8 Harry Potter movies back to back?" And because he's sort of like hypnotized, he says yes, and so they watch all 8 Harry Potter movies back to back.
Yeah.
And he doesn't go to the bathroom, and then when it's over, they say, "Do you want to watch it again?" And he goes, "Yes."
Why is that so adorable? Why is that so cute?
You know,
I'm very confused.
That movie has one of my favorite jokes in it. It's not that one. It's him saying yes to the no dentures blowjob from his apartment neighbor.
Lily.
That's
His landlady. She takes the teeth out, like she goes down off camera, then puts the teeth up on this shelf because listen, I have never laughed harder. That is a great bit. I love it.
That was in an American Pie movie.
Really?
It was in the last of the direct to DVD ones, The Book of Love, where they go to Canada and there's like this really old stripper they have to go see, and like the main character gets a blowjob from this really old stripper where she takes her dentures out.
It's gonna make me laugh every time it happens.
How many of those
it's not
movies
good.
exist?
It's
How many
not
of those
good.
movies exist?
I don't know
6,
how they
7?
There are 8.
Jesus fuck, dude.
Well, I was close.
There's American Pie, American Pie 2, American Wedding, and then the 4 direct to DVD, which were Bandcamp, The Naked Mile. Oh wait, no, yeah, Bandcamp, Naked Mile, Beta House, and Book of Love, and then American Reunion.
Why do you know this?
Because I used to have the direct to DVD movies box set when I was younger, and I liked them. I don't anymore.
Good.
Well,
Beta House was the only one I could watch all the way through and totally enjoy. All the others, I had problems with certain aspects. But Beta House, I had fun.
They are a time capsule of what the early 2000s were like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, Eugene Levy was in all of them.
Yes, he was.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He will be in literally any movie.
He
I'm
will,
pretty
yeah.
certain. Like, if they just pay him, he'll be like, whatever. I don't care about arts.
He's a working actor.
Doesn't need to be good.
He's
Hey,
one of those. He's
listen,
working.
guys. I need
Doesn't matter, got
I need
paid.
some money.
Well, he's on Schitt's Creek now, so
I haven't watched that, but I've heard it's really good.
it's good.
The first time I started watching it, I really didn't like it. It
Really?
It takes a while to
bugged
get
me.
going.
It really
Takes a while to
bugged
get
me.
going.
And then eventually everyone was like, no, this show's awesome. I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? This show's awful. And then I actually watched it more and more. I was like, oh no, it's good. I was wrong.
It's like Parks and Rec. It's like The Office. Like most good sitcoms needed like a fuck up of a season 1 to really find what they are and then run from there.
Yeah.
Unless you're Community.
I love Parks and Rec. I cannot stand The Office. I hate Michael Scott. I loathe his very existence.
I've never watched The Office, and I'm fine with it.
This is like the most unpopular take for somebody who works in the corporate world, because like everybody that I know is like, oh my god, this is too much like work. Isn't it funny? And I'm like, no, it's not. I think it's terrible.
Aaron, you are going to love the Patreon project that Jesse and I are working on right now. We're rewatching The Office with a gigantic morality spreadsheet to find out conclusively who is the worst character of The Office.
God, all of them. That's the problem. Like, I need somebody to be like particularly redeemable, and none of the interesting characters are particularly. I can't stand Dwight. I can't stand Michael. I've tried to like that show. I don't get it.
You have to have a
maybe
very
I'm just
particular
stupid.
sense of humor to appreciate it.
But I feel like everyone who has a corporate job, except for me, is like, this is the coolest, funniest, most amazing thing in the world. And meanwhile, I'm like, but is it though?
I will say one of my favorite bits from that show. when Kevin brings his chili into the office.
Yeah.
And he spills the chili on the floor, and he's using the fucking notepad to scoop it back in the box.
Yep.
Oh, that's one of my favorite
All right.
gags.
Speaking of
That's
questioning whether or not you like something, Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah.
Wow, what a segue. You should host this show. Yeah. Overall, I like this movie. I'm very interested, though, to find out how you see fit to fix it. This is this was a job too big for Devin. So here we go.
And Devin's a lot smarter than me. So first things first, I joked earlier about saying, oh, the Wachowskis won't be directing this. No, but seriously, first fix, they don't direct it. They just write it, they hand it off to a director.
Okay.
That's what they do. Or picture this, they do what they did on Sense8, where they have a committee of writers, and then only one of them directs it.
I think that they need to have another writer to be like, look, guys, when you do this, you need to also do this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
And
this can't just be a...
That's why I'm hoping
like,
for...
you have to go through the whole thing.
That's why I'm hoping for Matrix 4, because only one of them is directing it, and she's writing it with two other writers.
Right.
So... And
Is Lily writing it, or...?
I believe it's Lana who's directing it, and she's
Lana,
writing
okay.
it with David Mitchell, and I cannot remember his name, but they were both writers on Sense8.
Okay, I was going to say, David Mitchell's name is familiar.
Yeah, he wrote Cloud Atlas.
Right.
That's where I know him from. We've been talking about Cloud Atlas recently, and I looked at it. I'm like, I know I've seen that name in the past 2 days. Definitely Cloud Atlas.
Oh, I just looked at the Matrix 4 Wikipedia page. The Merovingian's coming back. What?
Yes, he is.
No.
Yes, he is. Speaking of the
Damn it.
Merovingian,
So they got rid of Lawrence Fishburne and replaced him with a Merovingian. Like, seriously, like that's not.
but
a
it's the
good trade-off.
Merovingian. And
You know what this means to me? This means that they recognize that Lawrence Fishburne deserved better than this film.
Maybe.
But we get to hear the Merovingian
Not even
talk
out
about
yet, but that's my bold take
causality.
right there.
causality.
Is that they're like,
All
I
right,
hope
Fishburne's
I hope
never
there's
designed for
more
this.
orgasm cake. And apparently Neil Patrick Harris is also going to be in the Matrix 4. So
Yes.
I hope he
And,
Oh, then I'm gonna.
Isn't
God damn it.
what's his name?
Yahya Abdul Mateen.
Abdul
Yep.
Mateen the second.
Yep.
He's in it. I'm so excited.
While I'm admitting how trash of a person I am, I will watch anything Neil Patrick Harris is in, including How I Met Your Mother. I know, it's bad, except for the last season is terrible, like legitimate terrible. I love it. I cannot get enough.
Oh
of
yeah,
him.
I was going to say like the first like 4 or 5 seasons are fantastic.
Yes, the end really ruined a lot about the show, at least for me, and I think everyone else. But yeah.
Using his kids as therapists.
Hey,
Okay.
why not?
Oh, I gotta fix your relationship with children. That's the best life strategy right there.
Of course.
That always works.
All right. So
If you're in quarantine right now and you don't get along with your spouse, go get knocked up. That's the life goal for you.
yeah.
No, don't do that.
So my my fixes. I basically have 5 main fixes.
Okay.
Number 1, I want to keep Maximilian Jones, Jupiter's father, alive until after she's born.
Yes.
And I want him
Okay.
to
She
die
should meet
naturally.
him.
I want him to die naturally. So, number 2, the driving force. Now, as we discussed, we all agree basically that if we're going to make this as a movie instead of an 8-episode miniseries, like it should be, if it's a movie, we want to hone in on the Star Wars planet harvesting plotline.
Right.
So, with that in mind, that plotline isn't introduced until halfway into the movie, into the halfway point. The movie's exactly 2 hours long, removing the credits, and that plotline shows up 1 hour and 4 minutes into the movie. I checked.
After the bees.
Yes, after the bees.
Oh, you know what? I actually sent a message to Jesse. The first time that Jupiter ever like resists something or like makes a decision on her own that isn't immediately overturned by somebody else's opinion is an hour and 32 minutes into the fucking film.
We're gonna fix
That is how
this.
long it takes for her to do anything.
We're gonna
on her
fix
own.
it. So I want to introduce that into the first 30 minutes. So then we actually get that out of the way. It's like, okay, we've introduced that aspect. Now let's run with it. Number 3, I want to make more usage out of the siblings because we don't get much out of Khalik, we don't get much out of Titus, and we don't get much out of Balim. I want to feature them more. So, Aaron, I like your idea of Jupiter being the reincarnation of like Balim's lost love and Titus's one-time fling. So then that gives more. It fits more. I think it just works.
Yeah, the mother thing was a real big stretch for me. That's pretty much a barrier to entry for I think most. This doesn't have appeal for people that aren't huge sci-fi fans. They're going to be put off by the weird, creepy relationships.
Sure.
Yeah. So that's what I like, and I also like your idea of Khalik and Kane basically like training her, doing the master apprentice thing. I like that idea. So that fits into that fix. Number 4.
Nice.
This one was the very first thought I had. And it was right after watching this movie for the second time ever. And I think it's brilliant. Stinger. We make it that Stinger is actually the author of a very popular sci-fi book series that Jupiter is a huge fan of. And that is how she understands a lot of the weird political things.
Yes.
Because
like
he incorporates that into his book series.
Right. She's already familiar with all of this through fiction, and she's figuring out that the fiction is based on reality.
So then that's how she
realistically make her any type of like sci-fi nerd, so she has some sort of I saw Captain Picard do this one time. Let's see if it works here.
Yep.
Oh man, if she does the Kobayashi Maru.
Yes, dude, that is a way better movie.
Yeah.
Or, no, what was it? The Picard maneuver?
The Picard maneuver? Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. All right, and then my last main fix. This is a bit of a read, so I'll go with it. She is a forced college dropout. Because her father was still alive for the first few years of her life, he was putting away money for her college, and she was able to attend a nice school studying either astronomy or astrophysics. However, because her and her family are immigrants, their cleaning business isn't doing well, and out of the kindness of her heart and because this is her family and she wants to help them, she drops out of college and takes all the money that she was going to use for college and uses that to help the family. And I think it makes her more sympathetic and gives her a better reason as to why she wants to escape and to get this telescope other than, quote unquote, I hate my life.
Yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Thoughts?
I mean, I'm on board.
It's a
far.
bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I mean it's a stretch, but it works. That would be the gimme moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is.
sure.
That's why I always refer to it as a gimme moment. Give me this one thing, I can make the rest of it work.
Okay.
That's what I would consider it to be.
Okay.
So if I give you that one thing, can you make the rest of the movie work?
Yeah. I follow.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you how do you see this story and plotline resolving then? So this is a lot of great setup. What do you want to see happen to resolve at least this part of the story, assuming that it's a part of a trilogy or maybe just this thing on its own?
I think it should just be the single movie. I understand that we have all of these great pieces that are there and that would be great for a trilogy, or as we've already established we would like to see as maybe like an 8-episode miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if we're going to focus on one thing, we should probably either take away or minimize the other two to a point where they're just nice little background elements.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kind of like, so in The Matrix, the philosophy is kind of like a nice side dish. Like, it's not the main focus, but it's still there. It's still there for everyone. It's something there for everyone to glom onto. I think that's what the other two pieces that we have should be. They should be these nice little side dishes. But we need have a main focus, and the main focus is the planet harvesting Star Wars plotline.
Yeah. Yeah, so it
because that's the one the audience cares about more, because the audience intrinsically is going to care about Earth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically a like a reverse Hitchhiker's Guide, right? Where like Hitchhiker's Guide starts with the Earth getting bulldozed, whereas this movie's like, no, I actually want to try to prevent that if possible.
Yes.
Yeah. That's basically it.
Mm.
Interesting. Okay. So let's string the characters through then. Where do you see everybody landing? So we've got Mila Kunis is still kind of her character, but now with more agency in the plot. Sean Bean is now functioning as a author, maybe like
He's kind of like Obi-Wan now.
yeah. Which
Instead
is funny.
Yeah, because like originally they were described him as like a Han Solo character. Like, no, he should be Obi-Wan.
Right. Yeah, on the Wikipedia, it says a Han Solo type character, and it's like, when, though?
When?
Yeah.
I don't
When,
see
though?
that.
Barely in the film, honestly.
Right.
Like, if anyone's a Han Solo type character,
And his daughter just disappears at some point.
Yeah.
Like, she's his motivation, but yet we never hear what happens
She
to
needs
her.
to be
Does
more
he get his
involved.
wings back? What happens to him? I don't even remember. Does anything?
Well, he's on the ship at the end. So
Yeah.
Okay, what happens to him? Does he get his wings back? Does the daughter get cured? Like,
wait, what did the daughter
it's a
have?
2-hour movie that got cut down from
his
3 hours.
motivation was... So his motivation at the end when he betrays, what's-his-face? So there's this plot where he betrays Kane temporarily, and Kane's like, why do you do it? And he's like, my daughter has this thing, and I can't pay to have her recoded, so I needed to do this so she could get cured. And then he's like, oh yeah, well, like, I understand why you double-crossed me. And it's so funny because the resolution of the double-cross is just so blasé, like, oh, hey, this is why I did it. And Kane's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'd do the same thing. All right, let's move on. I don't think you guys really realized that he had been double-crossed, did you?
No, I remember
Yeah.
the double cross. I forgot the reasoning why.
Yes,
yeah, me
because
too.
it's just such a throwaway element. And I'm like, hello? Did he do this in vain? Like, did fake space Bumblebee Lando Calrissian, did he do this in vain? Or is his daughter still, like, alive and fixed?
Yeah,
Like, what
there's
is
not even a shot at the end of them like hugging and showing, oh, they're fine now.
Because, like, the whole purpose was, like, Kane is like, oh, I'm doing this so you can get your wings back. But, like, at the end, we just see him get his wings back. What? Where's the... But I want to see Kane, or I want to see Dumbface. It's Stinger, dumb name. I don't even know.
Dumb face.
Look at his Sean Bean. I want to see Sean Bean happy at the end for once. God fucking
Right.
damn it. Is this against his contract or something? He must be miserable and or dead at the end of everything that he's in.
I think it's
Has he ever done a movie where he's like happy at the end?
Silent Hill.
Probably not.
Jesus.
I mean, was he happy at the end, or was he happy that it was over?
No, well, he wasn't really in it. It just his daughter shows up back at his house, so he's good now.
Well, no, they show up back in the spirit world, quote unquote.
Well,
But it turns out
I've
he's
never
actually
seen
a
Silent
demon.
Hill.
let's talk
Yeah, I
about
don't think
sex.
I know I did, but I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, it's not good.
I didn't
the
think it was.
I probably decided not to see it because it was
The-
bad.
Well,
mo-
it's
the
a
mo-
movie based on a video game.
well, the
It's
movie
most likely bad.
the movie has its moments, and it's actually one of the few times where I'd say a male lead would actually improve the film because
Yeah.
then the metaphors could actually work a little better.
Yeah.
Because like Pyramid Head's a dick, like an actual
Yep.
phallic penis,
Yes.
Yep.
and
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. We discussed this on the Silent Hill 2 episode.
yeah. Also,
that applies specifically to a male character.
Also, check out that weird ass game, Jesse and I's gaming podcast, where we talk about weird fucking games.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's one of those movies that maybe actually would have been improved by Sean Bean being the main character.
Yeah.
Just for the metaphors more than anything. But no, yeah, I like what happens to his character. And also, okay, this is probably my biggest downside to this movie is character development.
What character?
Exactly.
Character development in this movie?
Exactly. Because Channing Tatum, like, just his life improves from this whole thing.
Not through really him improving as a character, though. He just continues to be himself.
Right. He's himself and his life gets better. Sean Bean.
No character really has an arc in this movie.
Like, you could maybe argue that Mila Kunis does, but not really as much as, like
She just gets cool boots at the end, and she owns a
minutes.
planet.
She has no agency for the first 90 minutes.
You know what is mind-boggling to me is the fact that, like, she has an entire planet at the end of the film, and it's just like, it doesn't really feel like that much has changed. She's got a boyfriend, and she's got some cool boots.
Yeah.
Rock on.
Yeah, it's like
Like, that's what they make the ending feel
Earth
like.
is safe because of a piece of paper, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, like,
Shouldn't she
these
have,
people
like,
are true evil.
Shouldn't she have like an invisible castle that floats above Earth or something like that?
She needs Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, she needs like a Deep Space Nine kind of thing to look down on Earth. Like, yeah, it's mine now. Like, she needs that.
Yeah, the Justice League Tower.
Guys, you know what
Yes.
this almost
Or
is?
a house on the moon. There you
House
go.
moving castle.
There you go.
There you go.
Yes!
There you go.
I'm down for that.
Like I
I'm always
said,
down.
I just did a
Animation
whole
would make this movie
Miyazaki
better.
marathon.
An
You know, that's
animated
my
version
least
of
favorite
this.
Miyazaki movie.
Do what?
That's my
House
least
Moving
favorite
Castle.
Miyazaki movie.
House
Oh,
Moving
yeah.
Castle?
Yeah.
Lower than Porco Rosso?
Yeah.
Really?
I actually, well, the thing is, as I was watching it, I realized that I wasn't as invested in the love story as I wanted to be, as I thought that I should be. And then it was,
Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say that I think that Miyazaki improved upon that with Ponyo. Because I think Ponyo is a better love story than Howl's Moving Castle is. And I think the reason is because it's much more simplistic.
I mean, yeah, because they're kids.
Yeah.
Miyazaki's on record saying that he writes his stories so that the love interests improve from each other, and that's more important to him than the actual like progression of the relationship. Because relationships just happen, right? Like you meet somebody, they proceed, they end or they don't. He doesn't care about that. He wants the characters to meet and then improve from meeting each other. And that's more important to him. So, like, Howl's Moving Castle...
And I think that also works in, like, Spirited
Howl's
Away.
Moving Castle isn't romantic because the two characters evolve because of meeting each other, and that takes precedence over them being a cute couple.
I see. And maybe that's probably what Jupiter Ascending should be. Is that they
There
improve
you
upon
go.
meeting each other.
I feel like they shouldn't necessarily be implied as in a relationship at the end. I think way too much focus was put on her inability to be in a, like, proper relationship. And maybe it's just me talking because, like, you know, that's something my family's given me hell about in the
Sure.
past. But I'm just over it. Like, give me something that's more interesting as a dynamic. Make her like Emma Watson, who is, what does she call herself? A self-partnered woman, which is, woman? Where did I learn how to speak? A self-partnered woman. Like, just make her somebody who's like, you know what, my family says that I need a man. I don't need a man. I got a planet, bitch. I got my Deep Space Nine. I don't need this. Like,
Sure.
Again, speaking of side dishes, Channing Tatum is the side dish.
I mean, he's definitely a snack.
Mm.
But
Was it just me, or did he look a little flabby in this movie?
I mean,
he just looks weird in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure why.
The ears and
the
fangs.
and the mouthpiece. He's wearing a denture
Yeah, he
thing
wore a
that makes
mouthpiece.
his
he's
mouth
wearing dentures.
weird.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring that up, and someone was like, "Did you know he wore a mouthpiece?"
yeah, he's got like fangs. His canine teeth.
Oh yeah,
Get
it's
it,
obvious.
get it.
It's just.
He's a
Like
werewolf.
he's
He's a werewolf.
Okay, so let me sum up the overall, or actually, let me let you sum up the overall pitch then. The 5 bullet points of how to make this movie better.
Oh, you want to just go back through each point quickly?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the basic points are: number 1, keep Jupiter's father alive until after her birth. Number 2, bring the planet harvesting plot point up to the first 30 minutes. Number 3, make more usage of the siblings. Number 4, make Stinger the booker. I can't speak. Make Stinger the author of a popular sci-fi book series that Jupiter loves, and make her a college dropout, and that had to help her family.
Right. Yeah, so as far as adding agency for her in the story, if we've hit a lot of Act 1 and we've kind of hit on Act 3. Act 2 is like the exploration of this world, right?
Right.
Where do we go with her? What is she learning? How is she changing? If we're going to add a character arc for her, how do you see that playing out?
Well, being that she is, I would say most likely she would be like an astronomy major. Therefore, she is someone like her father who is just obsessed with the stars, obsessed with space and everything out there, and obsessed with everything beyond her planet. And then she finds out, oh, there's actually like life out there. There's a whole lot.
And she should be excited about that.
Yeah, and she's extreme, and that's the thing. She should be. So therefore, in our rewrite, she is. She is baffled and excited, and it just overall elated that like there's actually stuff out there. And then, but then when she gets there, she's like, wait a minute, I've read books about this. I already know all this. This isn't as exciting. And then she finds out it's not as exciting because it's a lot like life on Earth. You know, there's, just general life things that you have to deal with. And she realizes, oh, my life on Earth is actually pretty great. And I need to focus more up on that. And I think that's what Act 2 should do. Act 2 should basically be her teaching moment of, oh, life out in the stars. Yeah, it's a cool theory, but, back home on Earth, I still have a good thing, and I need to appreciate what I have and not go searching for exciting new things.
Is that the Wizard of Oz thing?
But this was actually inspired by the Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland. Like, that's the kind of heroine they wanted to write for this story, so it is apropos.
Yeah.
Does Dorothy have agency in the Wizard of Oz?
No.
Not really.
No,
and neither does Alice.
Well, she does get the crew together so that they can go to the Land of Oz, but she doesn't actually influence anything that happens.
So she needs 4 men to complete her story arc.
Yeah.
Product of a son.
Welcome to the 1930s.
Yeah, and 4 separate directors.
Oh.
Look into the production of Wizard of Oz. It's a fascinating story.
If y'all can find
they were terrible to her on set too.
Find the book. I can't remember. Alex Cox wrote it. I have it somewhere. I think it's called An Introduction to Film. Like his first chapter, he just talks about that because the whole book is basically, we're gonna watch this movie, and he even tells you now we watch The Wizard of Oz, and then he talks about it, and that's basically it. And so he talks about the whole production of so this is the 6th director breakdown of how The Wizard of Oz happened.
Yeah,
it's insane.
He goes into how the creative process working with a studio is a miserable experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really
That's
good
why
book.
he doesn't make big movies anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Repo
Walker
Man
did
is
not
great.
make any money.
And it's great.
That's good.
So, I like where we're at so far. I want the hook thing though. Why do people go see this movie? Why is this unlike other movies? What is the big draw? Because I remember
Planet harvesting.
Okay, so planet harvesting is the big thing. I like to think about it in aspects of trailers. Whenever you're cutting your movie
It
up,
reminds me a little bit of what was it in Dead Space? How they would do planet cracks. They would crack a planet in half in order to harvest all the minerals.
Yeah.
You could have that as the crux of your thing. They're gonna basically just annihilate the planet and then harvest everything from it.
Yeah, do it Independence Day style, the fight for planet Earth.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking for that trailer thing that makes you go, oh, this, because I remember when this movie came out, literally the reason I wanted to see it was this looks visually interesting and the Matrix people are on it, so cool. That's how the trailers are set up. It's from the makers of the Matrix. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks really good. Oh, okay. What's the story? You're never going to find out.
Yep.
Until an hour in.
Yeah.
So the big thing here is it really is a reverse Hitchhiker's Guide where it's the trailers show, hey, Earth's about to get fucking bulldozed. Let's do something about it real quick.
Yeah,
Beware
or
it's
it's kind of like a new spin on classic alien invasion movies of we always think that we're the only ones out in the universe. Once we find out, literally the moment we find out we're not alone, the Earth's about to be destroyed.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be just like a new spin on that.
Well, that's like
you know-
that's a twist on I think it's a Twilight Zone episode, which was also a play upon the day the Earth stood still. The Twilight Zone episode, aliens come down to Earth and they say, "This is unacceptable. What are you doing? This is completely unacceptable. You can't be like this. We're going to return in 1 year. All this better be in better shape." And then they just take off. So for a whole year, humanity gets itself
serve
together
man.
and forms. They form world peace all around the world, and the aliens come back 1 year later. And they hand them a book, and it says, "Here's our book of laws. We have absolute world peace, peace forever." And the aliens go, "What are you talking about? We wanted warrior races. You were supposed to be training to fight. We're going to eliminate your planet now." And they blow the planet up. That's how that episode ends.
Oh my god.
Surprise! Psych your mind.
Jesus.
For a second, I thought you were actually talking about To Serve Man.
No, I've never. I don't know what that is.
That's another Twilight Zone episode.
Oh yeah. I can't remember what the
Which
episode
I
was on.
first heard as a radio drama. I heard the radio drama episode, and it scared the living shit out of me.
That old Twilight Zone show. That's so good. That new stuff is crap, but the old stuff is really good.
Fuck you.
I wish that Black Mirror hadn't just trained us to believe that if you make a like sci-fi like skit with a twist, it counts as media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like half of Black Mirror is great. Sure. There's a lot of great ideas. But then the other half of it's like, oh, this is a 5-minute short film stretched out to 45 minutes, not a 45-minute short film that could have been a 90-minute actual film.
Yeah.
And not saying one's better than the other, but I'd much rather see 90 minutes condensed to 45 than 5 minutes stretched to 45.
Yeah, because then you really feel the length.
Yeah. Like, a little frustrating. And I think the new Twilight Zone has that same issue where it's like, these are 5-minute, what's the name of the guy? David F. Sandberg, the guy that did Shazam.
Yeah.
He used to do short films on YouTube. His whole thing was like, I can make this into a movie, but like, let's condense this down to 5 minutes, and now it's way scarier. We're getting all the scares. He did Lights Out, that horror movie that's actually pretty good, but like
It's like an 85-minute movie.
Yeah. And he was like, he had to add so much to get a premise out of it. There's this whole like, girl goes to a mental hospital background thing that they figure out, but all the scares are based around the short film, which is if you have light, you're safe. And he executes it really well, but even you can tell he's going like, Jesus Christ, we have to hit 90 minutes? Oh my fucking God. There's so much.
Yep.
But then he turned...
That's why you see credit sequences in movies ending up being like 12 minutes long.
Right.
Because they need to pad the runtime.
Yeah, slow roll.
Yeah.
Yep.
Doesn't the one
But then
have
Annabelle
like a
Creation was really good.
runtime? Doesn't Jet Li's The One have like a 15-minute roll for its credits?
I don't know. I guess we'll find out soon because
It would not surprise me.
Yeah.
Are you doing that movie?
yeah. Oh yeah. I have to share the Google Calendar with you now that I'm actually on a real computer and not on my phone. But yes, we're doing the one with Jesse from Recorded Tomorrow next Saturday.
Really? Cool.
Oh, that's next Saturday? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Next Saturday is that and Oblivion.
I don't hate Oblivion.
I love Oblivion.
I like
Oblivion is
I
like
know the
Trying to remember what
I know the
Oblivion
story of
is
the
other than
production
the
of
video
it.
game.
I like 98.
What is
I like
Oblivion?
98% of that movie, and then the twist is dumb as fuck.
Oh yeah,
No,
that's
I love the twist.
typical.
Really?
that's so.
Yes, because when it first came out, it didn't get a lot of great reviews, and I was like, I don't know if I want to see that. And then I was at work one day, and my friends were like, you haven't seen Oblivion? You would love it. And I'm like, why would I love it? They're like, because it's basically a big take a sci-fi original movie and give it a gigantic budget. That's exactly what it is. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I remember.
And I watched it. I was
story
like,
of
that's exactly what it is, and I love it.
I
All of
remember
it.
the story of the production of that movie, and Josh Dysart was saying that there were comic artists that were hired to try to translate the ideas from the script into storyboards, and then they did everything they could to make the script and story not suck.
Oh.
So they could, because they knew it wasn't that good as a script because the idea didn't work.
Yeah.
So they had to hire other people to try to prop it up with good visuals. And the movie does look really good, but it's like
Well,
the story doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's-
do you know
yeah.
who one of the writers is?
It is a B movie at best.
Do you know who one of the writers is?
It was oh god, was it Robert Orsi?
Nope. No.
Alex Kurtzman?
No,
Don't say
there are two
Kurtzman.
writers.
Please
We don't
get
say that
Jesse
name on this
started that.
podcast. No, there are two writers, one of which, his name is Michael De Bruin. That's not his real name. His real name is Michael Arndt. And before that, he wrote two movies. Those two movies being Little Miss Sunshine and Toy Story 3.
Are you fucking kidding me?
And,
Wow.
wait, he also co-wrote The Force Awakens.
It all makes sense now.
Intriguing.
And he co-wrote Catching Fire.
Yeah,
Why do I know all of this?
when we get to that episode, when we get to Oblivion, I can already guarantee, and I'm going to rewatch the movie before we do it because I haven't seen it since 2013. I saw the twist coming like 20 minutes into the movie, and then the movie took a long time to try to say, no, we're not going to do that. I promise. You can't guess the ending. I promise. And then we get to the ending and it's exactly what I guessed. And I was like, wow, what a like kneecapping that is for you to promise me we're not going to do that. And then you do that anyways.
Yeah. Well, it's also the graphic novel that it was based on that the director also wrote. The graphic novel never came out because the company that was producing it, Radical Comics, they were producing comics specifically for the intention of getting them made to film.
Yeah.
So basically it was like the film is the proof of concept. Like we wrote the book so that way we could pitch it.
Right.
That's it. Like that's not a good way to write a comic because you're using the comic medium as a crutch rather than as an asset. So the comics that got published by Radical usually weren't very good. And they were very, very simplistic and very dumb. And they had great artwork, and they did have one mandate. The interior artwork would match the exterior artwork. So the cover images you saw, that's what was on the inside of the book.
Interesting.
That's the one positive thing I can say about those books, but all the stories were crap. So
He plays a gay wow. Slip of the South Park tongue there. He plays a character named Jack Harper immediately after he played Jack Reacher.
The year after, yeah.
Yeah, it's a year after Jack Reacher.
How many times has he played a character named Jack, I guess is my question.
Not enough.
Yeah.
He needs
He
to play at
doesn't
least
look anything
6.
like Jack Reacher. So
No, he does not.
No, we're not getting into this. We're not getting into this. It's a
We're
good
not
movie.
fixing
We're
the
not
Jack
getting into this.
Reacher films.
The first one is good. I haven't seen the second.
second one is boring as fuck.
I had a feeling.
I thought the 1st
They're
one
not-
was boring as fuck. So
I love the
That-
first one.
They work well in book form. They don't work well in film form.
yeah.
They're crime novels. They're just they're standard procedurals. That's what they are. And
In
that's what makes
my-
them good.
In my opinion, Jack Reacher is basically like the how do I put this? It's my trash. It's basically my kind of trash. Like we mentioned at the beginning of this episode the 4th Rambo movie. That kind of movie is my kind of trash. Logan is my kind of trash elevated to art. Or like the 5th Rambo movie, that is my kind of trash. That is actually just garbage. It's bad.
Glad you said that. I was
Yeah,
gonna have to
I
fight you
don't
there
like
for
the
a
movie.
minute.
Oh no, I don't like that movie. I don't like it. I love the Home Alone ending. I don't like that movie.
Go back, listen to that episode.
Yeah.
And, of course, on brand, we don't want to talk about the Jupiter Ascending movie anymore.
Well, I mean, okay, so
It's actually
we
funny. I
kinda
just posted
figured
a
it
meme in
out.
the Discord chat that was,
oh yeah,
was actually
I
like
just
related.
saw that. Yeah,
So it's interesting because there is a modular ring ship class 2, which I'll link this in the podcast notes if you include this recording stuff so people can see it. So Class 2 modular ring ship. I love this. Also, there's almost always a good chance that at some point something will smash into the rotating rings. Happened.
In
Class 4, lots of detail, but anything goes. This is so true.
The modular
I love
ring.
this.
There's a ship like that in Battlestar Galactica. The 2004 Battlestar Galactica. There is a modular ring ship, and in season 4, one of the rings blows up because they're in the middle of a Cylon battle. So yeah, and then
same thing
everyone
kind of happened in Alien Covenant.
On all the message boards, everyone was screaming, "No, not the ring ship!" Because it had been all the way back in season 1. It had been established
it's like
that nothing was going to hit
Deep Space
it.
Nine.
Oh God.
You know that the pillars are going to get destroyed, like, pretty much every time shit hits the fan on DS9. Like, oh my god, one of the pillars!
Yeah.
I love it.
All right, so
I think
Jupiter Ascending.
Jupiter Ascending.
Better.
All right, if it's planet harvesting, I guess my big question is, do you want to lead into the political stuff? Because as I said before, I think I'm most interested in like the litigation of alien species, and maybe that's just the British humor really working for me in this movie. But I really love the whole like, you know, she figures shit out by reading because she's good at reading.
They reference Brazil. Why not go full Brazil where you have like, you know, you have the political angle?
I'm into it. I mean, I'm here for it.
Because I mean, granted, that movie is. I mean, because honestly, Brazil is only, I think, like maybe 20 minutes longer than this.
Yeah,
not even 20 minutes longer.
Brazil is a 2-hour, 25-minute movie, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so it's not even 20 minutes. Not even 20 minutes longer.
Yeah.
So you could totally do that.
Yeah.
In that amount
I feel
of time.
like having her not be the mother opens a lot more political stuff because they really act like the only political trump card that she really has in this game is Earth, or at least it's the only one that matters, and she could have other political assets and holdings if Earth was just initially intended as her dowry.
Yeah.
Like, she could have other resources at hand so that maybe she could command a flight of ships rather than being the person who gets captured and then, you know, has to be rescued at the end. Maybe she can spend a lot of time studying. Maybe she played video games or something like that and she knows tactics. Like, give her some skill that allows her to know how to interact with these people better by the end and make the playing field more even.
That actually makes sense.
I want this movie to feel like the real-life equivalent of someone going to a modern court system and asking for a duel. It's like it's such an it's such an outdated thing that they're like, even the aliens like don't know how to deal with it because it's like, well, when's the last time someone was reincarnated perfectly? What is the protocol? Like, she's thrown a wrench into a like finely tuned, slow working political system. I want it to feel like this whole and she knows how to exploit that. Her whole thing is like, she quickly figures out she is the wrench in the system, and then she wants to figure out how to do the most damage possible to end up on the other end going, hey, I run this shit now.
Puppet master.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, if that was the focus, and that is a very like British dry humor thing to run with, and the whole like, well, I like dogs line reminds me so much of the British Office, where it's just like, you said something and you really shouldn't have, and the audience is laughing because it's awkward and dry, not because it was an actual like joke. There's no setup, there's no punchline. It is just the worst thing to say in that moment, and that's why it's funny.
See, maybe that's why I hate The Office. I cannot stand secondhand embarrassment. It physically causes me pain. So, like, when she said that, I had to stop the movie and recover.
That is kind of the point of that kind of humor, too.
Well, that also reminds me of that scene in
like
Swingers, where he's trying to leave the voice message, and he just keeps messing up. So he leaves multiple messages. They just keep getting worse.
Right.
And it's like, there's no setup, no punchline. It's just, this guy is putting himself in a very awkward situation.
Right. Yeah, I think if this movie really honed in on one of the ideas, the Men in Black, the Star Wars, the, you know, Hitchhiker's Guide, those are the three movies that really kind of inspire this. I know that like on the Wikipedia page they list Wizard of Oz and Odysseus, but like not quite to me.
No.
If
Maybe that's the 3-hour cut.
right, yeah, maybe.
No, well,
Like, all that stuff has been excised. Barely any of that remains in this.
and Douglas Booth, the actor who plays Titus, said that he saw it as a mixture of Star Wars and The Matrix.
Yeah. Well, and
That's closer.
and like awesome. Just do that. You know what I mean? It's like the Matrix is just living on Earth, and then you find out that the rest of the universe is out there that's leaving the Matrix, and now you're in Star Wars. It's like
Yeah.
but
But in the case of this current film, it feels more like the Star Wars prequels, where it's like bureaucracy and stuff like that.
right. And like
Yeah.
the prequels did it unironically. I feel like this movie could do it ironically in that like
Yeah, do it as a joke.
yeah.
Yeah, it's satire.
Even Valerian has flavors of that like ironic space satire thing of like
Again, go Brazil.
You made it all the way through that piece of shit?
I did. I mean,
Oh.
it's not making it all the way through that piece of shit. It is making it through the 3 movies that exist on the 3 different acts. Every act is a new movie.
That comic series is so good, but they really fucked it. Oh, God,
I mean,
it's so
isn't
bad.
that like 70s French comics though? That's like
Yes.
that-
Yes.
Yeah.
that doesn't translate
Like
well to
Snowpiercer.
big budget American.
No.
That's why Snowpiercer
No.
is not an American movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, also, Snowpiercer is like adapted from the book it's based on. It's barely anything like the book.
It's true.
Yeah.
They get out. The train stops, and they get out of the train in the comic.
Yeah.
The train never stops in the movie. So,
Right.
Yeah. Also, that's a French comic, not a you know. What's the? I think
Valerian's French, and Snowpiercer's French.
Yeah, Snowpiercer's French. What is Valerian? Is that
That's French.
It's French.
Yep.
It's French? I thought it was Italian. I don't know why I'm
Nope,
thinking
it's
of
French.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
that's what the director grew up reading when Star Wars came out. Because he was the one that was like, they just ripped it off from this. Star Wars is a ripoff. Like he was a
So he
Star
just
Wars
wanted-
is so basic that you could claim it's anything.
true. Yeah, absolutely. I want to read you guys the last line of the development section on Wikipedia. So,
Okay.
so they go through great lengths of comparing this movie to The Odyssey and The Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
And the
then?
last line, actually, let me read the whole quote. Can we bring a different kind of female character like Dorothy or Alice? Characters who negotiate conflict in complex situations with intelligence and empathy.
When does she do that? At what point does she do that?
Wait,
Not until the
there's
absolute
more.
very
It
end.
continues,
more.
and it gets so much better. Yes, Dorothy has a protector, Toto, who's always barking at everyone, and that's kind of the origin of Cain.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What a load of
Oh
bullshit.
God, why?
What a-
Seth, why are you doing this to me? I haven't done anything to hurt you recently.
You made me the
Hey,
jizz
have you guys
authority.
ever
You have done
Oh,
things
yeah,
to
okay,
hurt me
maybe I-
recently.
That was a week ago. Are you still holding a grudge?
No.
Have you guys ever seen a movie called Sleeping Dogs Live?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not
Sleeping
gonna lie.
Dogs
Half
Live.
the reason that I had to ask Seth if I was going to be on this episode is because I was pretty sure I was banned after last episode.
It was Twilight. We all knew. We all knew it was going to go there. Sleeping Dogs video
2005 or
game.
2006 movie. Or 1998. There's 3.
Yeah, which one do you mean?
There's 3 of them.
I'm going to assume 98 because it's
Oh, wait, no. 2006, about a woman whose relationships are damaged when she reluctantly reveals that she committed an act of bestiality with her dog while in college. Written and directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. And is a favorite
Yep.
of John Waters. Because of course it is.
Of course.
what's
Why
the
not?
Yeah.
what's the other Bobcat movie we bring up on the podcast all the time?
World's Greatest Dad.
God Bless America.
Yeah,
God Bless America.
God Bless America. I'm starting to feel like that now. I'm not gonna lie.
Fuck everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm reaching that point.
I don't blame you. I'm there with you. Yeah.
I'm like, wow, Idiocracy is actually like a prediction of the future.
Listen, if Terry Crews was our president, we'd be in much better shape right now.
Oh,
Yes.
God, yeah.
I love him. He's just like I pray he never does anything controversial because I just need him to be perfect in my life.
He definitely has a little foot and mouth syndrome, but it's, I think, cultural more than anything. So it's hard to comment on accurately, I guess. It's a diplomatic way of putting it.
Yeah.
He's definitely an ally, but he definitely also comes out of the whole, like, women should be supportive subs kind of mindset that doesn't really play well anymore.
He's a very religious person.
Yeah.
That's probably where he got that from.
Yeah, that's true. His wife is like anti-porn in general, which is like
Wrong.
Sure, but also like don't be hateful about it, I guess. I don't know.
I hate the number of people that claim to be very pro women, but then like the second you mention something like sex work, they suddenly are like, "Oh my god, them whores!" Like, no, sorry, there are people that are paying them money that are keeping them in business. So clearly, this is a service that is desired. You know, you cannot be blaming people for taking advantage of the market. This is a capitalist society. If something will sell, people will sell it.
Yeah, it's a whole other conversation. Terry Crews in general, I have not bad things to say about, but he has definitely put his foot in his mouth more than once. And that's okay. So have I.
True. So have we all.
Logical ending for this, I guess, is basically, hey, decide on a tone and run with that instead of having 5 movies in your one movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
I do like the kind of plot related fixes. I like Sean Bean being an author that she's familiar with that really kind of ties it into reality in a way that is easier to follow instead of her just like, has she never interacted with bees before?
I guess not.
The movie never says, but also kind of makes it clear that she's never interacted with bees to know that they just do whatever she wants.
Have you been stung
Which,
by
by the way,
a bee?
cool power, by the way. They should have done more with that. Like, that was just
an
aside.
It's
They
one
recognize
time, and it's never done. They never do anything else with it.
She just uses
and I was
attacks.
like, oh wow,
bees.
that's cool. She's actually starting to get powers.
She uses bees as attack
then-
dogs.
Yeah, is this
Attack
a
bees.
sequel to the Bee movie? Is she like the product of Jerry Seinfeld and that CGI monstrosity?
You know, to mention the bee movie, right?
You
mentioned
that video
that,
on
right?
YouTube.
I'm sorry.
Which
Keep going,
one, Jesse? Which video?
The one where every time somebody says B, it gets faster.
Oh,
Yes. It's like 3 minutes
there's
long.
there's a whole B movie rabbit hole you could go down where it's like every time he says B, the entirety of Toy Story 3 plays, and anytime like it hits this like infinity kind of subgenre where everything is happening and you never actually make it through the whole movie because 5 other things happen anytime they say B. It's hilarious.
I'm sorry, but you mentioned bee
Christ.
movie, and the other day I was loading up groceries for a woman,
For a
and I
bee.
just happened to look inside, and her kids in the back seat were watching the bee movie.
Did
I was
you
like,
did you
good
say,
mom.
hey, you like jazz?
I should have. I think we're pretty much done here.
No, we have to play a game. This is Patreon content. We have to play a game, though.
What? I didn't know about this.
Okay.
Hey! We're playing a game.
Playing a
This
game.
this is for whoever's pitching at the time. I have a game that I'd like to play.
Oh god!
it's-
I just found like a B movie thread on Reddit.
Oh,
no!
have
I will
fun.
watch.
So I'm gonna expand this.
I will watch the B movie every day until quarantine is over.
I can't even imagine. I tried that with The Shining 2 Halloweens ago. That didn't go well. All right, so here's the game. It is a kind of like, well, we take your birthday, your eye color, and what percent your phone is on to set up a movie for you, and then you have to elevator pitch what this movie is.
Oh boy.
Now, if you're uncomfortable with revealing your birthday on air, we can pick a celebrity for you and use their birthday instead, if you prefer. I'll defer to you on that one. But we need a birthday and then eye color and your cell phone percentage.
I'll go up first.
Well, this is just for you. I only do it with the guest.
Oh, okay, great. Eye color, brown. Birthday, April 12th, tomorrow. And my phone is at 81%.
Okay. For April, you get the director M. Night Shyamalan.
You're already fucked. Sorry, dude.
For the 12th,
All
your
right.
your leading star is Aquafina.
Oh, Jesus.
Hell yeah.
For your
I mean,
for
she's-
your eye color, you get your co-star is Sam Rockwell.
Yes.
And then you
Yes.
said 81%.
Yes.
It's a romance movie.
All right.
Ugh.
Good luck.
All right. So I got a romance. Now, this can when you say romance, it can be a romance drama or a romance comedy, correct?
Romance is pretty broad. Honestly, you can kind of it's one of those you can kind of induct into any other genre if you have some good ideas. I'm very loose on the rules of this. There has to be a romance in your Aquafina-led, Sam Rockwell co-starred M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Okay. So the thing with M. Night Shyamalan is that we're not making a horror movie here.
Sure.
Sorry, M. Night. We're not doing that. I'd like to go way, way back. And I'd like to go on the way, way back machine. Back when he directed a movie, I forget exactly what it was called. I want to say it was called Wide Awake. That's probably not it. But he made a movie starring Rosie O'Donnell
Yes.
and a young kid. And like his father died and she's taking care of him. So there's that. He also co-wrote Stuart Little.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, he did. Directed by the co-director of The Lion King. Why do I know these things? Okay, so romance.
It is Wide Awake.
We could go down. It is Wide Awake. Okay, and oh boy. So I'm gonna take romantic horror or like erotic thriller off the table because romance you can go into the erotic genre.
Sure.
So I'm going to take that off the table because I want this to be a straight up romance. But I'm debating on whether or not... I don't think it should be a comedy, actually. I think it'd be just a straight romance.
Okay.
So, Rockwell and Aquafina. I have no idea how to deal with that.
Well, okay. So
I don't know.
So let's get inventive here. Just because it's a romance movie doesn't mean those two have to be the relationship.
They should be best friends.
In real life, I agree.
Yeah. Or actually, no, I have a better idea. They are foster siblings.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. They are foster siblings. And they are both extremely unlucky in love, and that's the basis of the whole movie. Is that once Sam Rockwell finds someone that he is really compatible with, they work together to do everything in their power to not fuck it up for him.
Okay.
And then you get the kids in there for comedic purposes.
So how is Aquafina your lead in this?
Oh shit. Actually, no, it'd be better. You're right. Actually, reverse that. She's the one who she's the one who gets starts dating someone, and they do everything in their power to make sure she doesn't fuck it up.
Interesting.
So it's about her relationship. So it's like it's mostly about her romantic relationship with someone, and then the nice side dish to bring Sam Rockwell in. It's the relationship between these two foster siblings who you know, came from different backgrounds, came from different cultural backgrounds, and they grew up together and they have this deep respect for each other.
Sure. I like that. I'd love to see lots of scenes of them like playing off of each other comedically. Not saying it has to be a rom-com, but like they're both funny actors. I'd love to see them kind of bounce off of each other. Have
you seen the movie Bed of Roses?
No.
Bed of Roses is a mid-90s movie starring Christian Slater and Mary Stuart Masterson. I'll give you the basics of what this is. Mary Stuart Masterson works in like a corporate office, and someone from her past who like this man who basically raised her, he dies, and she really doesn't like it doesn't really hit her until she returns home from like a service that was held for him, and she's at her window crying, and Christian Slater is like on a nightly walk and just walks by and sees her crying, and he feels compelled to like help her, so he basically stalks her and finds out where she works, and he works at a flower shop, so he just starts sending her flowers.
Okay.
Oh, that's not creepy.
Yeah, I know. It's the 90s. It was written and directed by Michael Goldenberg, who later wrote the 5th Harry Potter movie. And but it has but that romantic relationship is pretty much played straight. But then on the side, you also have Josh Brolin, who Mary Stuart Masterson is dating at the beginning of the movie, and then they break up later.
Okay.
Oh, they break up like 15 minutes into the movie. It's not that long. And then you also have her best friend, played by Jeanine Garofalo. And there's a lot of interplay. So you could basically have M. Night Shyamalan's Bed of Roses, but Awkwafina in the Mary Stuart Masterson role and Sam Rockwell in the Jeanine Garofalo role.
Okay. Interesting.
Okay.
And to switch things up, I'm going to say Florence Pugh in the Christian Slater role.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Interesting. I never know where this game's going to go. Also, Bed of Roses has a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, so...
Fuck you, Rotten Tomatoes. Fuck you. That is a comfort movie for me because I was like, okay, I know it's not great. I know it's not very good, but that movie just makes me feel so warm and fuzzy inside. It's like, man, I wish I was with someone.
Okay.
It's a nice movie.
I'm on board. We got stuck with Taika Waititi like 3 times in a row, so I'm just glad to have a break from him.
Yeah.
Is there a twist to the end of your movie? If you're gonna
No
Shyamalan twist?
No. Okay, I want to ask this. I've actually never seen The Last Airbender, thankfully. Was there a twist ending to that?
No. That is a studio movie handed off to a subpar editor.
Yeah,
cool.
Like
awesome.
The studio basically they hired Shyamalan for his name, not because of his talent as a director.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's like his only movie outside of Wide Awake that doesn't have a twist.
No. What's the one he did with Will Smith and Will Smith's son?
After Earth.
Oh,
that doesn't
After
have a twist.
After Earth. Yeah, there's no twist in After Earth.
Yeah, that piece. Oh yeah.
Really?
Well, the twist is it was terrible.
Oh god, it fucking sucks.
Even though it's shot by a great cinematographer.
I mean, realistically, that wasn't that much of a twist.
At that point in his career, yeah. Also, the story was co-written by Will Smith.
It was a vehicle for his kid because he was trying to force his son to be an actor.
Shyamalan's not batting terribly. His fuck ups are just epic. That's really what it is.
Yeah, The Lady in the Water, The Happening, The Last Airbender. Because I'm not going to involve The Village in that, because I like The Village.
The Village has a bad twist, but the movie itself is great. Signs is fine.
Awesome.
I love it for personal reasons, but like as a film, it's not broken. Unbreakable's legitimately fantastic. The Sixth Sense,
it's his best movie.
Unbreakable is. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
Unbreakable's his best movie.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, totally. Even
it's honestly one of my favorite movies.
I can see that. Yeah.
No, it's just they're not.
Hello?
Here. Sorry, there's a house kerfuffle.
Oh.
Is everything okay?
Yes. It's we're trying to figure out if someone's broken quarantine. They're not here.
That's definitely Brian's car. That's exactly what it is. I'm sorry for that. We thought people were over and we were like,
No. We've gone full
we
online.
bought you a $30 duck and spent $365. You got a duck.
Like a live duck?
No.
What the fuck is happening?
A live duck. There's a
I'm
live duck
extremely
loose.
confused right now.
This is Untitled Goose
What
Game.
is
Thank you for playing.
I don't know what's happening. I had a point here, and the point was he's not batting 50-50, I guess. I don't know. They just came downstairs and said they spent $300 on a duck. I don't know what's happening.
Like a real duck? Like what kind
They
of
said a
are we
duck in a
talking?
bag, so I assume they're going to ask me to cook a duck, which, like, I don't even like duck. I don't know what's happening.
They want you to make a turducken for Easter.
A chicken and a duck and a turkey.
Oh, okay, that makes more... Okay, they must be doing some kind of special dinner tomorrow. That makes more sense. I'm sorry. I'll cut this out, I promise.
No,
I know
don't
that
cut it
bit
out.
from-
Please don't cut it
I know
out.
that bit from, what was it, Red versus Blue? Yeah, turducken. Yeah, it's a chicken and a duck and a turkey.
Right. That's so much meat, and we have no room in our refrigerator. I'm so confused.
So I guess had a pelican, then an emu, and then
I miss
a
moving
leopard,
my-
and then stuff it all into a
I think we're
747.
done.
I miss leaving my
I do
house.
too. I remember my point.
Yeah.
This episode got real weird because of quarantine. I think
It was
No, it's just us.
We're starting to get the quarantine crazies.
it was that
We're all weird.
if you watch The Happening and pretend it's a Judd Apatow movie, it actually works. That was my point.
Insert funny sounds and insert goofy
Yes.
music. Yes.
Like
Yeah, it
when
does work as a
when the
comedy.
kid gets shot and the kid from Elf gets shot in the chest by a shotgun. If you like play the Curb Your Enthusiasm, boom, 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 da-da-da-da-da, totally works. It totally works.
Come on, guys. Take an interest in science.
You're gonna be beautiful for your whole life, I promise.
I love that.
Oh my god, there's
So much.
that movie's so funny if you watch it as a funny movie. If you watch it as a horror movie, it doesn't work, but all the kills are hilarious in isolation. So watch the whole
Yeah.
thing as a comedy and it totally works.
When the guy feeds himself to the
Yes.
tiger, it's like the funniest thing in the
Yes.
world.
Wait, Tiger King?
Right.
Is it Carol Baskin's husband?
We circle back around. There it is.
We
Hey,
figured
we
it
went full
out.
circle. That means it's time to end the episode.
Yes.
Wait, no,
Perfect.
wait.
I
Before
finished
we end the
the
episode, I have something to say about The Happening.
Oh, okay.
What?
Oh no, man.
No, the crazy plant lady, played by Betty Buckley.
Yeah.
I work with someone who knows her.
Really?
Yeah, well, she is the original Grisabella from the original Broadway production of Cats.
Okay.
She originated the role. Yes. And
That is cool as shit.
one of my coworkers, her name is Athena, she used to work at a theater, and Betty Buckley would teach at that theater. Yeah.
Interesting.
She lives not like maybe like 2 hours from me.
And you're only 4 hours from the Tiger King.
Now we've gone for a circle and the episode is over.
There it is.
Hey, JD,
so long,
3
farewell,
hours later.
things
let the
undo.
people know where they can find your stuff.
You can find me personally on Twitter at JD_Martin_ and on Instagram at _JD Martin _. A lot of underscores in there. And you can find my podcast, Your Gyllenhaal That I Want, on Stitcher, iTunes, and Spotify.
Hell yes. That's going to do it for us. If you'd like to be on the show, at Film Rescue Show on Twitter, send us a DM or tag us on Twitter. We will see your message, or send a email to filmrescueshow@gmail.com. Pick a movie, come up with a pitch for how to fix it, and we will bring you on the show. We've got a bunch of guests coming up the rest of this month, and then we're booking for May, so things are rolling. Upcoming episodes include Twilight and what was the other one that I hated that we just did? Batman v Superman is also coming out with the movie Bob. Aragon, that's right. That's the other one. That was a fun episode. It was good to have Devin back for 2 days and then not hear from him ever again. He's not dead. He's just busy.
We miss you, Devin.
We do. I miss him being in.
He needs to come back to this.
Yeah, I miss him
coast.
being in Maryland. We used to work out together, and he
Yeah.
actually pushed me to do things.
That was a lot more convenient.
Not that I can go to a gym right now or anything.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, that's it for us. Thanks for listening, and good night.